Fitzpatrick heading back to Miami. ESPN NFL analyst Mina Kimes thinks Smith will help shape the Steeler offense.
It really tells us, I think, a story of what Arthur Smith's vision is for this offense with Aaron Rodgers. They want to come out with multiple tight ends. They want to run the football. Jonnu Smith gives him a target underneath who can get the ball out quickly and he can get yards after the catch. And I think he pairs really well with DK Metcalf as more of your outside deep threat.
Kimes on SportsCenter. Smith set Dolphins franchise records for catches and yards by a tight end last season. Another big move for the Steelers. Still no solution for star pass rusher T.J. Watt. ESPN's Adam Schefter reporting the team still has no intention to trade him. In the NBA, Thunder star forward Jalen Williams set for wrist surgery on a torn ligament he played through on OKC's run to the title, expected to be ready for the start of next season.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Welcome into a Monday edition of After Further Review. We're going to do it one more time for the next 3 hours. I am hanging out with you as Matt Moscona still on vacation. Matt Musso in the host chair tomorrow. He'll take you Tuesday through Thursday. Filling in for Matt today, I'm Taylor Sharp. Paul O'Neill. And Mr. Jordan Kitchens.
Jordan for three.
It sounded a lot like you. Do you not have a drop?
No, I do not have a drop.
How many
but we're
times
working
have you
on
done
that.
this shit?
I'm gonna say about 5 times. About 5 times now. Yes.
That's actually not as many as I thought.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
We got to get you a drop, man.
You do. No, Matt was like, either you get a drop or you're gonna get the Musso. So
You don't want the
I
Musso.
do not want the Musso.
I was thinking everybody on this show has a good drop, but Musso. So when I filled in for the first time,
Yes.
I chose the Sharp Dressed Man, like for the song.
Yes.
Literally, Matt goes, "You have 2 minutes to come up with one, or I'm picking it for you." I instantly was like, "Oh, let's do this. It's coming in a minute. We're gonna do that." I was like, "I don't want the Musso treatment." How are we feeling today, fellas? Look, it was a long Thursday and Friday. Me and Paul here were grinding. You were out in the bustling city of Thibodaux, Louisiana. We'll get into a little bit later, but weekend vibes. How we feeling on the Monday?
I'll say it like this, Taylor. It goes to show me there was a learning moment.
Good.
No, it was a learning moment for me. It's like if you're gonna have Thursday and Friday off, just go ahead and get Monday off, man. Just go ahead and get Monday off and then come back on Tuesday. Like that's what I've just learned. But it's, you live and you learn. You live and you learn.
I know somebody who's doing that next week who happens to be off today. Our own Matthew Musa.
Oh, see, Musso's out again?
That guy's been out for a week, and we're all off Friday for 4th of July.
Yeah. Thank God by me.
He took off Monday.
Really?
Yeah.
This dude Mooston took 2 Mondays off.
That's what I'm saying.
What is going on here?
Paul, how are we feeling? I know we had some dad responsibilities over the weekend. How did it all shake out?
Yeah, we're feeling good. We had a kid's birthday party over the weekend, so got to hang out with a bunch of little ones.
That sounds like something I would not enjoy, so I'm glad you went instead of me.
Yeah, it was good.
All right, look, we got a lot to cover here on AFR. We're going to hit some New Orleans Saints. We're going to hit some LSU football. The Louisiana Hall of Fame induction ceremony for 2025 occurred over the weekend. We'll break that down a little bit later in the show as well. We got 3 guests lined up for you. But right now, let's start the show like we do every day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Aaron Schatz of ESPN, this was back on Thursday, made an interesting free agent suggestion for the New Orleans Saints. So when you look at the Saints, their linebacking core is pretty solid. I mean, a couple lists came out over the weekend, got them like top 5 in the NFL at that position. They did a decent amount in the draft to try to shore up that offense as much as they could. The positions everybody's looking at right now for the New Orleans Saints, both on the defensive side of the ball, you're obviously looking at D-line, and of course that Saints secondary, mainly cornerback. So Aaron Schatz suggests that maybe the Saints call Stephon Gilmore, the savvy veteran, bring him in for a visit and ultimately sign him. And I'm good with this. Because when you look at Stephon Gilmore, I started thinking, okay, this is an old player. He's way over the hill. He was productive last year. Like Schatz mentions in this article on Athlon Sports, he was rated 30th in the NFL in my coverage metric while being assigned to some of the league's toughest wide receivers, so he was still productive, and he was relatively healthy. He's going to be 35 years old at the start of the season, but he played in 15 games a year ago, 7 pass breakups. He had a pick as well. He was still a productive player. Now, 5 to 6 years ago, Stephon Gilmore's a top 10 corner in the NFL. He's obviously not that anymore, but can he be a solid piece for you? I just mentioned he played at a high level last season and played in 15 games, so he was healthy. It also gives you a veteran presence in the secondary outside of Tyrann Mathieu. Now, of course, you bring in Justin Reed, but it's his first year in this building. This brings in another veteran presence next to those two guys. When I look at the Saints cornerback room, again, I'm good with this. Kool-Aid McKinstry is going to start for this football team. He's going to be one of the corners on the outside. You spent a second-round pick on him a year ago. He showed some flashes last year as a rookie. If he can take that next step, he can solidify one of those outside corner spots. It's opposite of him that is the concern for me. So the name that's been in the room the longest is, of course, Alontae Taylor. Now, Alontae Taylor's an excellent nickel. I mean, you watch him. He flies to the football. He's a good open field tackler. Hell, he can rush the passer. He led the Saints in sacks at one point in the season last year. He is a playmaker at that nickel spot. But when he's lined up at the outside corner position, he really hasn't graded out that well. I would not move Alontae Taylor. I would keep Alontae Taylor in the nickel. Because if you move Alontae, you're making him readjust to the outside corner position, which he's played sparingly, to say the least, here in the NFL. And now you have to find another nickel to take over and try to replicate the playmaking ability of when Alontae Taylor's in that spot. I'm leaving him alone. There's no use in trying to change 2 positions when you only have to change 1. So, who are your options right now? Obviously, Isaac Yiadom is the name that's going to come out of people's mouths first. He's been in this room previously. He's back on the team this year. Yiadom's a solid veteran. He's 28 years old. Again, he's played in this building before. He's never done anything to wow anyone in his NFL career. I mean, when you look at his numbers, he's played in a lot of games. The stats don't jump off the page at you, but he's just a steady veteran player. And maybe that's what you need. But is Gilmore a step up from Yiadom? He might be. Now, again, Isaac Yiadom's 7 years younger than Stephon Gilmore, so take that for what it's worth. But Gilmore is more proven, obviously, at least up to this point. I mean, we know what Gilmore was a few years ago. You also drafted a rookie in Quincy Riley. He's out of Louisville. He was a very productive player in college. And I mean, when I say very productive, like look at his numbers. 3 years at Louisville. Quincy Riley, 109 tackles, 6 tackles for a loss, 8 interceptions. He returned those for 173 yards and also had a touchdown. So he can do a little bit with the ball in his hands as well. He has good ball skills. He can make tackles on the outside. He can even get in the backfield a little bit. I mentioned 6.5 tackles for a loss in his college career. So you can say, okay, well, you have Kool-Aid McKinstry on one side. You can just slide in Quincy Riley right there if you don't feel good about Yiadom, right? Not necessarily. Quincy Riley's obviously a rookie. And then you look on the other side, Kool-Aid McKinstry's only in his 2nd season. And I mean, he didn't play a ton last year. He was a role player for you, but he wasn't an every down starter for this team. If you're unsure about Yiadom and you're unsure about Riley, should you sign Stephon Gilmore? And honestly, I kind of think you should for a few reasons. One, it doesn't hurt you at all. Like in this article, Adam Schatz mentions, it's crazy to think that the New Orleans Saints actually have cap space for once, but they do. It gives them the ability to bring in a veteran to help fill a hole. There's a hole at outside corner, as we just mentioned. Also, if you're concerned about his age, it's fine. I understand that. This is a 1-year deal. If you want to move on after this season, that's fine. For what it's worth, his projected value in free agency, according to Aaron Schatz, is a 1-year, $5.3 million deal. So you're getting him for pennies. A guy that at one time in his career was a top 10 cornerback in this league. I'm not saying that give up on Yiadom. I'm not saying that Quincy Riley's not going to be a good corner. But if you want a veteran that is an upgrade from Isaac Yiadom, and you're not sure Quincy Riley is ready to go out there and be an everyday starter, you could do a lot worse than Stephon Gilmore. Best case scenario, you bring in Stephon Gilmore. He plays really well. He starts double-digit games for you, and he helps bring Quincy Riley along slowly, and Isaac Yiadom can make spot starts if needed. That's your best case scenario. Your worst case scenario, you sign Stephon Gilmore to a $5.5 million deal for 1 year, and he's awful. Well, no big deal. You can either cut him halfway through the season or move on from him at the end of the year, because you're only tied to him for 1 year. There is very little downside in a move like this if the Saints do it correctly. You're signing a guy that is proven in this league, still playing at a high level, is relatively healthy. Like in Stephon Gilmore's career, not just this past year, really every year. So in 2021 with the Panthers, he had some injury issues. He only played in 8 games. He's been in the league for 13 years and has played less than 11 games one time, and it's the year I just mentioned with the Carolina Panthers. He has been incredibly consistent. The last 3 years in Indy, 16 games. With the Cowboys in 2023, 17 games starting at corner. And then last season, 15 games for the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, they were pretty good. And even in 2023, Dallas had an okay defense. Now, they're Dallas, and they disappointed in the playoffs, but it wasn't Stephon Gilmore's fault. This is a guy, again, still playing at a high level. I understand the age, but as of right now, there are no injury concerns. He still played at a high level a year ago, and he could be very affordable and a solid veteran to bring in. If you're not sure about Yiadom and you don't think Quincy Riley's quite ready, Stephon Gilmore could be a really good 1-year rental to help get those guys up to speed. All right, look, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, LSU Wire released the projected strength of schedule for all 16 SEC teams heading into the 2025 season. According to them, LSU gets a pretty favorable schedule. We'll break that down next here on AFR.
After further review.
GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Get them by Glow Resources or go to GlowResources.com. If you're a business owner and you want to be more efficient, maybe you're really struggling to find the right person in your job at your place to make your business more efficient. Maybe you're struggling to find people who are responsible, people that show up on time, people that are efficient when they work. You ever had a job where you think, man, that should have been done in 2 hours and it takes 8 hours? Well, what if you had the right people to get that done? I'm telling you, Glow Resources can find them. And while their corporate headquarters are here in Baton Rouge, which I love about them, by the way, they've got offices in Miami, in Orlando, in Houston, in New Orleans, in the Golden Triangle, and they service businesses all over the world. So no matter where your business does business, if you need the right people, you need Glow Resources.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You can book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
Welcome back in the Monday edition of After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. Okay, I teased it there a little bit going into break. Will Rosenblatt of LSU Wire, he ranked all 16 SEC teams from 16 to 1, 16 being the easiest schedule, 1 being the hardest in terms of strength of schedule. So this is based on the team's average opponent win total from a season ago. So all of the win totals from all the teams they play, they averaged it out from last year and just simply broke down who has the easiest, who has the toughest. So at 16, it's Texas Longhorns. They have an average opponent win total of just 6.2 wins. Your LSU Tigers come in at number 11. And the write-up is LSU's conference slate will be slightly tougher than it was last year due to locations of Ole Miss and Alabama games being flipped, but it's still manageable. LSU gets A&M and Florida and Baton Rouge, both games the Tigers lost a year ago. I actually really like LSU's schedule. I mean, when they say manageable, like, I agree wholeheartedly. Obviously, you have Clemson at the beginning of the year. That's a huge game. Not only is it a preseason top 10 matchup, but I think that could potentially lay out what you need to do the rest of your season. We'll start with the optimistic side of things. Let's say you beat Clemson in that opening game. You go play Louisiana Tech at home. That's a win. You have Florida week 3 of the season in Baton Rouge. I know you lost to the Gators a year ago. I don't think that happens again. I'm giving them a win there. Then you have Southeastern Louisiana at home. That's going to be a win. So you're 4-0 going on the road to Oxford. An Ole Miss team that, while Austin Simmons, a lot of people think that he has a lot of potential around him. Jackson Dart was a 3-year starter at Ole Miss. It is tough to replace him, and you get Ole Miss early. I understand you get them on the road, but I got to think that their offense is going to be somewhat different, at least this early in the season. I mean, you're replacing a guy that started over 30 games for you. I'm going to give LSU a win there. You're 5-0. South Carolina coming to home. You beat them on the road last year. I don't see why you can't beat them at home. Then you go Vandy, A&M, at Alabama. So if you beat Clemson, you're too tough. Let's say you take care of business at home. Okay, we won't go through the home games. You have A&M at home, Florida at home, South Carolina at home. Let's say you chalk it up you win all your home games. Is that likely to happen? Let's just, for argument's sake, say you do. If you beat Clemson, the two toughest road games on your schedule is at Ole Miss September 27th and at Alabama November 8th. You could essentially actually lose both of those games. If you win all of your home games, you win all of the other games on the road, and you beat Clemson at home, you're 10-2. You're primed for a run to the college football playoff. Now let's flip it. Let's say you lose to Clemson. Okay, so you lose your opener. You already have one loss. Again, take care of business at home. Win the games you're supposed to on the road. Take a look at your two toughest road games. Can you win one of Alabama and Ole Miss? If you can win one of those games, you're sitting at 10-2. Now, a lot would have to happen to do that. That's easier said than done. I realize that. Oklahoma's gotten better at quarterback with John Mateer. You play them the last game of the year. You have to go to Vanderbilt, even though I think Vandy takes a step back. But I think you beat Arkansas. I don't think they're going to be very good, and you get them at home. You're going to beat Western Kentucky. Like, you end the year 2 out of 3 home games. Arkansas at home, Western Kentucky at home, Oklahoma on the road, who might have only about 4 or 5 wins at that point in the time. If you can beat A&M at home and Florida at home, you split those 2 road games, you're going to be favored in every other game you play. I'm not saying you're going to go 10-2. I'm just saying there's a very good possibility that that happens. I really like LSU's schedule. Now, the Clemson game obviously is going to tell the tale early on what kind of football team this is going to be. Again, you start out hot out of the gate. But if you can win that opener against Clemson, I think LSU's sitting pretty, and I think there's a chance they make the college football playoff. As far as the easiest schedule, let's go back to that real quick. You look at Texas, I mean, easy is an understatement. Like, these guys, I don't think they play anybody in the preseason top 25 outside of Georgia. And you have Georgia November 15th. You open the season, you have your opener against Ohio State, of course. Again, a lot like LSU and Clemson. Even if you lose that game, though, San Jose State, UTEP, Sam Houston State, at Florida, who I think Texas is better than. Oklahoma, we're not sure what kind of team they had. They weren't very good a year ago. Kentucky's going to be terrible. Mississippi State's going to be terrible. Then you got Vandy. You do go to Georgia, but you close the season with 2 home games, Arkansas, Texas A&M. That's a pretty favorable schedule. Because when I look at that right now, you go at Georgia, at Ohio State. Everything else, I really think Texas is going to be pretty significant favorites in all of those games, assuming Arch Manning does what everyone thinks he's going to do. We'll get to Arch Manning a little bit later. As far as the toughest game on your schedule, though, or the toughest schedule in the SEC, the Oklahoma Sooners, man. You have Illinois State. That should be an easy win to open the season. You have Michigan at home September 6th. I don't think Michigan's that good, but what if Bryce Underwood wins that job and he's awesome? Like everybody expects him to be. That could be a dogfight. You go to Philadelphia and play in Lincoln Financial Field against Temple. Still not sure what the hell that's all about. Who wants to make that trip? You play Auburn and Norman, but I think Auburn's going to be improved. They're better at quarterback than they were a year ago. You bring in Eric Singleton to put next to Cam Coleman. That's a really good 1-2 punch. One of my favorite wide receiver duos in the conference. You'll beat Kent State, but listen to this run. Texas, South Carolina, Ohio State, at Tennessee, at Alabama. You could potentially lose all 5 of those games. Texas is neutral site. You're at South Carolina. You have Ole Miss at home, but then you're at Tennessee, at Alabama. 5 of those games, 2 true road games, 1 neutral site, 2 home games. You could potentially lose all 5 of those. Then you have Missouri at home. We'll see what Missouri does without Brady Cook and Luther Burden. But then you close the season against LSU, who I think is going to be really good. That is a tough, tough schedule for Oklahoma. And I don't think there's a coach right now in the SEC whose seat is hotter than Brent Venables. Remember 2 years ago, Venables' first year at Oklahoma, because he's going into his 3rd season. He had a pretty nice year. He won that thriller out in Dallas against Texas. Dylan Gabriel was like top 4 in Heisman voting like halfway through the season. Dylan Gabriel had a really good year. You have 5-star freshman Jackson Arnold sitting on the bench. And in the offseason, reports had came out that Oklahoma asked Dylan Gabriel to move on. They said, we're going with Jackson Arnold. It didn't work out with Jackson Arnold. You had a bad year. Jackson Arnold got benched, ultimately transferred out. He's going to start at Auburn this year. You bring in John Mateer, who was really good at Washington State. He's never played in the SEC, though. Looking back on that move with Dylan Gabriel, think about where Venables would be if he didn't let Gabriel walk. And they didn't have to light up the world last year, but let's say Oklahoma goes 8-4 with Dylan Gabriel. By the way, Dylan Gabriel led Oregon to an undefeated regular season and a number 1 ranking in the college football playoff. I'm not saying he's going to replicate his success at Oregon, but let's say he goes 8-4. After a 9-3 year, the year before you go 8-4, you're not on the hot seat. You're fine. You're building your own culture at Oklahoma. But you had a losing record last year. You only won 2 conference games. You were 2-6 in the SEC a year ago, and you're breaking in another quarterback, your 3rd quarterback in 3 seasons at Oklahoma. I don't know if it was Venables, the assistants, the athletic director, whatever. Somebody got bad advice letting Dylan Gabriel walk the way they did. Because Jackson Arnold was clearly thrown in there before he was ready. Maybe they thought he was ready, but he wasn't. Getting off of Oklahoma for a little bit, though. Let's go back to LSU. Again, outside of that first game, I really like LSU's run. Win or lose that, your next 4. Louisiana Tech at home, that's a win. I think you beat Florida at home. I don't know if they're going to be quite as good as they were a year ago, and you lost that game that I don't think you should have, but it was in the swamp. This one's in Death Valley. You're going to beat Southeastern. And then you're either 3-1 or 4-0 going to Oxford. And if you win that game, South Carolina, I think you take that one. Vandy, I think you take that one. I think you beat Texas A&M at home. I mean, there's a chance you're 7-1, 8-0 going into the Alabama game. Even if you take care of all your other opponents and lose to Clemson and Ole Miss, you're 6-2. Now, it's easier said than done beating Alabama, but you're 6-2. If you win out, you're in the college football playoff. There are multiple scenarios you can lay out for this LSU football team where they have a path to the playoff. They have some room for error. Obviously, you don't want that. You don't want an early slip-up. An early slip-up's not going to kill you in terms of your chances to make the college football playoff, but it makes your margin of error so small. You got to win the Clemson game. But even if you don't, there is still maybe multiple paths for you to make the college football playoff. All right, look, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, we're going to do a quick around the SEC. Then at 3:45, we're joined by Bill Bender of the Sporting News. All that coming up here on AFR.
After further review.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website, LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net, powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires at the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over, and you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
Welcome back in a Monday edition of After Further Review. We are brought to you every Monday by Relief Windows. Taylor Sharp here with you in for Matt Moscona. We got Jordan Kitchens. We got Paul O'Neill along for the ride as well. All right, we do it every day around this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Alabama football scored a huge recruiting win on Sunday. The Crimson Tide received a 5-star commitment from Xavier Griffin, considered one of the top linebackers in the 2026 recruiting class. Griffin announced his commitment to the Tide over offers from most of the nation's top schools, including Florida State, Texas, Ohio State, and Georgia. Sunday's commitment was the second linebacker to join Alabama's class. Zay Hall, a 3-star prospect from Tuscaloosa, announced his commitment to Alabama on Friday.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Tennessee baseball gained a huge commitment as Landon Mack has committed to Tony Vitello and the Vols, a proven weekend starter heading into the 2026 season. Mack was 6-5 with a 4.03 ERA as a freshman last year at Rutgers before transferring He picked Tennessee over LSU. As the Vols head coach Tony Vitello delivered a big recruiting win. The right-handed pitcher started 15 games and was named the Big Ten All-Freshman team. 6'1", 200 pounds, Mac had 70 strikeouts, 17 walks in 80 1/3 innings. He walked fewer than 2 batters per 9 innings, one of the top rates in the nation. Mac began the season as Rutgers' Saturday starter before taking over the Friday night starter role in April.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas football earned a commitment from 2026 four-star offensive lineman Ben Mabinga. He chooses the Razorbacks over Georgia Tech, NC State, and Florida State, among others. Mabinga is 6'5", 283 pounds, out of Beaufort, Georgia. Had scholarship offers from Arkansas over teams like Michigan, LSU, Oregon, Missouri, Auburn, Texas A&M, and others. Mabinga is the 23rd commitment for the Razorbacks in the class of 2026. Rivals rates him as a 4-star recruit and the number 43 offensive tackle in the entire country. A little fun fact here about Ben Mabinga. He is, in fact, the younger brother of LSU redshirt sophomore offensive lineman Paul Mabinga.
The Vanderbilt Commodores.
Carson Quillen, who is Tennessee's 3A Mr. Baseball, committed to the Vandy baseball program as part of the recruiting class back on June 28th. He was a two-sport star at Greenville High School. He also played running back on the football team. He was formerly committed to Virginia Tech to play both football and baseball, but reopened his recruitment for both sports back in February. Quillen confirmed to the Tennessean that he planned to play only baseball at Vanderbilt and did not intend to join the football team. Quillen batted .514 with 3 home runs, 30 RBIs, 19 doubles, and scored 64 runs, along with 46 stolen bases. He also went 8-1 on the mound with 1 save, 60 strikeouts, 4 shutouts, and a 2.20 ERA in 53 innings last baseball season.
The Kentucky Wildcats.
3-star recruit Garrett Witterington announced his pledge to the Wildcats this weekend. 6'5", 290-pound product out of Briarwood Christian in Alabama. Witherington is ranked 116th among defensive linemen and 31st in the state of Alabama. He also holds offers from Notre Dame, Penn State, Miami, North Carolina, Memphis, Mississippi State, among others. Kentucky now stands at 13 commitments in the class of 2026. 24/7 Sports has this class ranked 55th overall in the 2026 team composite rankings. All right, that'll do it for Around the SEC. There is a discussion in the YouTube chat right now. So last segment, if you were here, you heard me kind of break down LSU's schedule, maybe a blueprint of what it potentially could look like. My prediction was 10-2 if things fall a certain way. Somebody in our chat said, well, you could have been 10-2 last year. And well, somebody else is saying, well, you should have been 6-6 because you should have lost to Ole Miss and South Carolina. Okay, sure. Were those teams better than you last year? Yep, probably. But I would argue that you were more talented than Florida and USC. You lost both of those games. It's kind of a wash for me. I mean, I hate to be this guy and be like, oh, you should have been this, you should have been that. Kind of think LSU should have been right where they were. Maybe you did steal the Ole Miss and the South Carolina games. You had a big lead against Texas A&M that you let go away. You were more talented than Florida, and you're probably more talented than USC when things were all said and done at the end of the year. So, there were a few games, you probably should have lost. I think there are a few games you should have won that you let slip through the cracks. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we get back, Bill Bender of the Sporting News hopping on, talking some college football when we get back. This is AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So you can walk in there. You can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, Your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold Refreshment. Dave's back on. Coors Light. Choose chill.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. You have to do some of the work, too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
Welcome back in. Final segment, hour number 1 here on a Monday edition of After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. Taylor Sharp sitting in the host chair for our guy, Matt Moscona, who is out the rest of the week. Right now, I want to go out to the phone lines to do a little college football preview. This man is a wealth of information, whether it's football, basketball, you name it, he can do it. Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Bill, how are you this afternoon? Bill, we got you?
Hey, thanks for having me on. Sorry, I had the mute button.
Oh, you're good. Absolutely. Thanks for making time for us, Bill. Look, I wanted to have you on to kind of preview the upcoming college football season. look, there's a lot of people that are looking at the top 25 right now, whether, in the top 25 preseasons will fluctuate, but, the teams we know, the top 10 to 15, every year there's a team that is overrated or underrated, as far as end of the year results based on what they've done to start the season. Is there a team out there you're looking at like, maybe they're ranked a little too high, and then on the flip side, is there a team ranked a little lower we should watch out for?
Well, I mean, you never know with Miami and Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the two that kind of stick out as maybe too high, depending on, Florida, it's not for lack of talent. I mean, DJ Lagway should be good, but they play 7 ranked teams this year, including Miami. So there might be a couple bruises along the way. Miami, coming off a really good season, but do we think Carson Beck will replicate what Cam Ward was able to do last year? And that's a question there. So I think those two always stick out there. And then in terms of underrated, hard to say. I don't want to have one that really sticks out. I was talking to somebody today that really likes USC and what they have coming back, but they're in that Big Ten where there's a lot of work to do with their schedule. And obviously, Jaden Mayada at quarterback, they should be better in theory, and this is a critical year for Lincoln Riley.
Bill, as far as some of the top teams, mainly an Ohio State and Oregon who had great seasons a year ago, right? They're both breaking in new QBs. Like Dylan Gabriel's gone. Obviously, Will Howard's gone. As far as those two teams, who do you think sits better right now at the quarterback position in order to make another run?
Well, I don't know. Probably Ohio State,
yeah,
because whoever wins that job gets to throw to Jeremiah Smith and Cornell Tate. I mean, that's not a bad gig, right? That you get to do that for a full season. Whether it's Julian Say and Lincoln Keenholtz or, there's good incoming reports about the freshman Tavion St. Clair. For Oregon, Dante Moore obviously stepping in there. And I do think there's something to be said about the patience he showed by waiting a year behind Dylan Gabriel and learning. And, so he comes in knowing that system all the way through. And I think Oregon has enough around him where he'll could be very successful. More of a boom or bust candidate in some ways.
Speaking of Ohio State, Bill Bender, our guest right now, they got a heck of a game coming up week 1 against the Texas Longhorns. And then down here in Baton Rouge, our LSU Tigers have a big game against the Clemson Tigers all on opening weekend. Which one of those matchups, you looking forward to the most? What do you like week 1?
Well, I like a lot. I think Ohio State, Texas, obviously probably be there for the Arch Manning debut.
Mm-hmm.
I think Notre Dame, Miami is going to be a lot of fun. But in terms of impact on the college football playoff race, and I'm not just saying it because I'm on your station, I mean, none bigger than LSU Clemson.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, in Death Valley, SEC implications, LSU trying to win that opener for the first time in a while. Clemson trying to beat an SEC team. They went 0-3 against SEC teams last year. And it's kind of I think both of those teams are going to go to the playoffs. But I also think this is a validation game of sorts. And if you're LSU, knowing the schedule they have, you don't want to lose that one. And if you're Clemson, knowing you're playing an ACC schedule and people are probably going to judge you more on the LSU and South Carolina game, you don't want to lose that one. And then you throw on top of it Garrett Nussmeier and Cade Klubnik, 2 quarterbacks getting NFL attention. It should be a hell of a game.
Speaking of that LSU-Clemson game, let's just stick right there for right now because, look, Bill, anytime you see a tough opponent week 1, the Tiger fans down here get PTSD because you are 0-5 in your last 5 season openers. In your opinion, just outside looking in, someone from a national perspective, what is it about these opening games that just don't go right for the Tigers?
Well, some of it was scheduling and timing. That first one in 2020, how many LSU, the answer to this, how many LSU guys went to the NFL draft? 15?
Yeah, from 19 team, yeah.
You're going to have some bumps in that one. Then the UCLA game, it went wrong from Ed Orgeron's infamous quote. And then the last couple have just been close, wacky games. They easily could have beat USC. They could have easily beat Florida State in there. And, I've kind of made the joke with Jacob Hester over the years. I was like, why can't you just schedule a Sun Belt team or a MAC team in that first one? So I think there is something to be said about scheduling up like they have. And, that will be interesting to see if they win the Clemson game and be rewarded. And in this 12-team era, I think you should be rewarded for playing those tough games in the opener.
Bill, I want to shift from national more towards down here in SEC country. When you look at the SEC quarterbacks, it's as wild as it's been in a number of years. All the teams that are traditional SEC powers outside of LSU kind of have some question marks at quarterback. And then like some of the lower teams like a Vandy, like a Mississippi State, like they're returning starters from a year ago. Like, do you have an early favorite to win the SEC?
I think most people are going to pick Georgia and Texas. You know, obviously Georgia, they're still going to be loaded. They're still going to have a lot of talent around Gunnar Stockton. I think when it's considered a down year and they won the SEC championship,
right?
And they, the Sugar Bowl, I don't know that I'm going to sit here and say that Georgia is in trouble. I think Texas with Arch Manning, I don't want to say boom or bust again, but they did lose a lot of guys to the NFL draft. So even with the excitement around Arch, there's going to be some questions there. Then everybody else that we have ranked, and by the way, we have 10 SEC schools ranked in our post-spring top 25. They all have a reason why you can believe and some questions. LSU, for example, I like Garrett Nussmeier a lot. I think, but the question to me is when you bring that many guys in from the portal and you lose the tackle like Will Campbell and some other players to the NFL draft, how does that all fit for Brian Kelly, not to mention one of the tougher SEC schedules?
Yeah, I mean, Bill, you're talking about, losing the tackles. LSU has one returning O-lineman from a year ago as far as starters. Like that's everybody down here's big concern, obviously. One more for you before we get you out of here. As far as the Tigers go, like LSU's playoff chances this year, what do you give them?
I mean, we have them in. If you look at Sports News' latest playoff projections, we definitely have the Tigers in. And again, not just doing it because I came on your show to play to the crowd.
Right.
I think they can be that third or fourth SEC team, especially if they win that opener. And, I don't know if you saw this because I do have a sense of humor. We put them playing Notre Dame in the first round. And can you imagine the attention
Love
around that game? If Notre Dame and LSU played in the first round in South Bend or Tiger Stadium, either way, that would get a little bit of a headline around Brian Kelly with his history with the Irish, however. And I like fun matchups like that, and I think that's part of this playoff experience where you for the potential to have Notre Dame come down to Tiger Stadium or for LSU to go up to South Bend. Those are the kind of playoff matchups I want to see more of in the future.
All right, Bill, before we get you out of here, tell everybody where they can see more of your stuff.
Yeah, I'm at BillBender92 at sportingnews.com. And it's always great to talk to you. I mean, media days are next week for the Big 12. We're getting so much closer to the season. It's a lot of excitement, and we have a ton of content over there.
Absolutely, Bill. Thanks so much for hopping on today.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on. Take care.
Yes, sir. That was Bill Bender of the Sporting News. I've had Bill on a few times when I filled in hosting. Get this. I've had Bill on to talk March Madness. I've had Bill on to talk NFL football. I've now had Bill on to talk college football. Like, you want to get a wealth of information, talk to Bill Bender for 10 minutes. You'll be smarter after leaving that conversation. Just a wealth of knowledge that guy is. Okay, look, we're about to wrap up hour number 1 here on a Monday edition of After Further Review. We still have a jam-packed show for you. So coming up at 4 o'clock, we're going to have Chris Marler hop on, talk some SEC football. Our own Jordan Kitchens back here. He was at the Manning Passing Academy. He decided to ditch me and Paul on Thursday and Friday. Like
we're gonna
get your thoughts. Me and you're gonna chop it up a little bit about maybe what you saw there, what you liked, what you didn't like, how our own Garrett Nussmeier looked. We're gonna talk it all. We're gonna look at QB situations in the SEC, like me and Bill Bender just discussed a little bit. We obviously have our Tigers in the pros, and then in the 5 o'clock hour, Jace LeJeune of Gridiron Football is hopping on, preview the Tigers season, and then the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame Class of 2025, their induction was on Saturday. That's something not a lot of folks are talking about. 2 big-time names in LSU with Andrew Whitworth and Nick Saban. Jordan, we got about 2 minutes left before we go to break here. I didn't really get your opinion on this. And, since we're talking college football right now, how much, just in your opinion, outside looking in, is that Clemson game a must-win for LSU? Like, how big is that game to start the season?
Bro, it's an 11 out of 10. Like
11 out of 10,
It breaks the scale. It literally breaks the scale. Just off the fact that you haven't won a season opener since Joe Burrow was rocking purple and gold, that's a problem. So, and if you want to be, well, I can say want to be, but if you can have a little bit more leeway throughout the season, because you're an SEC, you need to win game 1.
That's the thing, right? Like, it's week 1. You can say, okay, a week 1 loss is not going to kill your season. That's absolutely true. But you basically have zero. Now with the 12-team playoff, you can probably drop 1 more game.
Yeah.
Back when it was 4 teams, you lost the opener, you had to win out. Like, I'm sorry, that's how it goes. Like, now you can drop one of those games, but like you have Florida, South Carolina, Alabama, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, like Texas A&M, tough games. You can lose one of them.
Yeah.
If you lose to Clemson.
And so that's a problem.
If you beat Clemson, you can drop 2 of those games.
And be
Doesn't
okay.
really matter which 2. You're sitting there at 10-2. You're probably the 3rd team in that college football playoff right there. And like
in there. You're
where they say
in.
don't let us get in. Like all you need is a shot. So like I agree with you. Like we were talking the other day on Friday, me, Beck, Paul, about should you play that tough game like I'm all for playing the tough game. Everybody has an opinion of like, do you play it week 1? Do you play it week 2? Whatever. Just win the damn game is all I'm at. Like at this point, get it done. I don't care if you play Tech first. I don't care if you play Clemson first. Like
just win.
Just get that done. All right, look, that's going to do it for hour number 1. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, Chris Marler, who is our social media manager right here at 104.5 ESPN. He's also our SEC writer for LouisianaSports.net. He's going to hop on. He is cranking out SEC football articles. Want to get his thoughts on a few things. That's coming up on the other side here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. The Louisiana legislature is in session, and there's actually a bill right now that would eliminate door knockers in Louisiana, make it illegal for roofing companies to go door-to-door knocking to solicit business. As members of the Louisiana Roofing Contractors Association at Parish Construction and Roofing, we wholeheartedly endorse that legislation because we will never door knock. That's also such a way that some of the less reputable companies get around and take advantage of people. And we hear about it every year during storms. And you have out-of-town companies come in. If you need a roof repair, replacement, you got an issue, ignore the door knockers and call a reputable company that's been in the community, that's community-related, community-based. We'd love it if you give us the opportunity to earn your business. We're never coming to knock on your door. When you're ready and you want to give us a shout, we'd be more than happy to help in every way that we can. Go to the homepage of our website. You see a testimonial from Coach Kim Mulkey right there. We've done work for Coach. Do business with someone you know. Coach Mulkey did. We'd love to help you as well. Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
Done. Pittsburgh acquiring All-Pro corner Jalen Ramsey and Pro Bowl tight end Jonnu Smith. Star safety Minkah Fitzpatrick heading back to Miami. Only 2 defensive backs have been named All-Pros at least 3 times in the last 8 years. Ramsey and Fitzpatrick traded for each other. Today, Steelers getting deals done with Ramsey and Smith. Star edge rusher T.J. Watt still looking for his new deal. Team not interested in entertaining moving him. NBA free agency about an hour away. LeBron opting in yesterday, but sending a message to the Lakers. ESPN LA's George Sedano says LeBron wants the team to win now.
I'm guessing he's tired of this first-round stuff because he's always thinking about the big picture and where he fits in historically. And he's given the Lakers a ton of leeway and never gave any organization prior that kind of leeway. And now he's putting the team that supposedly is only about championships, he's putting it out there that maybe they're not.
Sedano on Joe and Q.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Welcome in, hour number 2 here on a Monday edition of After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. Sitting in the host chair for Matt Moscona, I'm Taylor Sharp. Paul O'Neill.
Chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And dropless Mr. Jordan Kitchens.
Jordan for 3!
Thanks for hanging out with us today on this Monday. A lot to do here in the next 2 hours. Right now, I want to go out to the phone lines. It's our social media manager right here at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Also, SEC writer for LouisianaSports.net. Our guy, Chris Marler. Marler, what's going on, man?
Not much, dude. How are you?
I am doing well. Okay, so for those out there listening, first time I met Marler in person, he was sitting at the desk in the hallway right next to where my desk was. And we argued about Alabama football for about 20 minutes. So
you were right.
He knows the key to my heart in terms of talking sports. So I love anybody that'll just sit down and argue with someone they barely know about sports. I love it. Chris, before we get into it, man, your little post on our social media page made quite the stir. Who's the most famous non-sports alumni from LSU?
Most famous non-sports? I mean, that's tough. You've had a ton of people. I think the biggest thing is people get confused as to who went there and did not go there.
Right.
And the biggest thing too is like it's not athletes. It's not athletes. I think the thing that was I don't know if it was the least surprising or just the most on brand thing that happened with social media was this was like a fun, lighthearted Friday afternoon, throwing some content up for like just for whatever, so we have something going into the weekend. The amount of people that got genuinely angry over Jimmy Buffett going to Auburn for one semester was staggering. It was just staggering. But no, back to the question. I think most famous for LSU, my thing would probably say I would say James Carville. I would say maybe someone like Todd Graves, the guy from who owns Canes and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of famous ones. But more than any other program or school in the SEC. LSU dominates like the athletic part of that,
right?
Not necessarily having like the greatest list of other alumni that aren't athletes or whatever, but athletes, man, there's so many Mount Rushmores to make.
It is so funny. So here's how I found out about this post. Like, look, man, I've been pulling 6 to 6. This is my third 6 to 6 in as many days. So like Friday, I went home. Like, I turned everything off and then get a text from Jacob Hester about 8:30 in our OTB group chat text. And he goes, remind me to silence my notifications anytime Chris Marler makes a social media post. He's like, the phone's been blowing up. So I'm like, okay, I got to go look. And the amount of people that were yelling at you that you didn't pick Shaquille O'Neal, like, I was like audibly laughing in my living room. So thank you for that free entertainment. Look, man, let's dive right into it in terms of like on the field. So, I actually looked at your SEC power rankings that you would put out Friday on our website, louisianasports.net. As far as like going into the season, look, every year there are teams that are ranked high preseason that underperformed, or, teams that are low that nobody sees coming. Like, in your opinion, is there a team out there that's a little overrated and a little underrated coming into the year?
Yeah, I think that's underrated. I think if you look at last year, it was definitely South Carolina.
Yep.
I don't think anybody saw that coming to the degree that they were able to win, especially late in the season. Team that's overrated, I feel like Ole Miss is one that I would be a little bit concerned with. Like the actual schedule itself is pretty manageable. I would also throw out Texas a little bit, only because the expectation for Texas has now just become, man, they better compete or win a national championship, or it's like somehow a failure, even though they haven't won one in 20 years, right? Like, they made it to the semifinals 2 years in a row, but them having being the overwhelming favorite to win the SEC, win the national title, have Arch win the Heisman, all that kind of stuff. I mean, you go back to the last time they had the number one overall recruits in the country at quarterback for them, and it was a season ago. So we've seen this before. Arch has been there for 2 years. I mean, I kind of side with Steve Spurrier. If he was that great, how come he didn't play a little bit more when it wasn't like Quinn Ewers was, lighting the world on fire at times last year? So that schedule is a little bit more difficult than it was a year ago. They got to go to Georgia, to Ohio State. I could see them taking a step back because, dude, they lose 2 games. If they lose those 2 games, which are very losable games, at the end of the season, they still have to play A&M, which is still a rivalry game.
Yep.
And I hate to say this. There's no part of me that likes saying this out loud, and I want to preface it by saying I have never been one to be in the camp prior to the season to say that A&M is going to be way better than they should be ranked, or way better than people think they are. I've never been in that camp. I feel like this year, man, they are flying under the radar, and they're going to be pretty good because I think Marcel Reed's better. The defense is always going to be good under Elko, and they bring back 4 out of 5 offensive linemen. They could be frustratingly better than people think.
I'm glad you brought up Texas there as a team that maybe pump the brakes on a little bit. I was looking the other day, like, everybody's got Texas ranked so high. I'm like, you're breaking in a new quarterback. You lost your top 3 pass catchers from a year ago. And then
right.
An article came out over the weekend. It was like, that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And this is not the LSU fan in me, but 2 LSU players, it was Whit Weeks and Berrien Brown for the return game, made first team all SEC on this list. And I'm like, oh, okay, Nussmeier was second team. No big deal. Like, Lenora Sellers was first team. It was Arch Manning. I'm like, okay, right. That's fine, but Arch hasn't played a meaningful game as far as starting. He's gotten some spot starts here and there. So as far as going into the season, realistically, because you're more of a realistic guy than some of them, what are your expectations for Arch this year?
I think Sark is one of the best play callers and offensive minds in the country, and I think that he has been for years. Like, him and Kiffin, I think, are both, and Ryan Day, I would throw in there, are probably the top 3 offensive minds in the sport, at least for college football. I will also say, you saw the numbers he put up with guys like Tua. You saw the numbers he put up. I mean, he turned Mac Jones into the all-time leading quarterback for completion percentage in a season in 2020, and then turned him into a top 15 overall pick. Not a lot of people are super high on Mac Jones and his pro career, but Sark is the one that kind of put him there. Arch should have all the tools. We've been told he does. I have to see it before I'm going to get just all gung-ho about, in this conference especially, saying, oh, man, this guy is going to be the number 1 overall pick. He's shoo-in for the Heisman, blah, 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 blah. I kind of worry about Arch Manning, too, a little bit, because he is going to face so much backlash the moment he screws up in the slightest because of how, over everyone is at the hype, and the season hasn't even started yet. So I think that's kind of where I would stand with Arch. He should be really good. He's also a guy that hasn't played a ton of competition and good competition at any level that he's been at. Not having Nuss there at 1 or Sellers would be, that's shocking to me.
Yeah, right. Because when I saw it wasn't Nuss, I'm like, okay, well, no big deal. Sellers finished the season hot. While we're on the topic of quarterbacks, the Alabama Crimson Tide, a team that you follow very closely, Look, there's a little bit of question marks there. Like you have Ty Simpson. He's kind of the veteran in that room. You have Austin Mack, who came over from Washington, and then Keelan Russell, the 5-star freshman. How do you see that shaking out before the season?
So it seems to be that Simpson is going to be the starter going into the season. Everything that's been said close to that program and brought up about him, like and just going out of, not just from like leaving spring ball and all that kind of stuff and going into the summer, but just the way that he's kind of commanded like that team offense and locker room. Like he seems to be the guy and the leader. I think Austin Mack, I don't know how good or bad he is going to be. It's obviously a guy that, you know, that DeBoer was confident enough in to bring him from Washington and wave bye to Julian Sayin, who was an incredible talent coming out of high school and now is the starter at Ohio State. But I think the biggest thing with Bama going into the season at the quarterback position, you have to figure out a way, like unless you're winning every game and you are competing for a national championship, an SEC championship, and you are having a great season, not like last year, but having a great season, the whispers are going to become roars very quickly to have Keelan Russell on the field. And if I'm that, like the biggest concern I would have, especially if I was DeBoer, is that's the highest ranked recruit in the history of the program. Like over Bryce, over Julio, over all those guys, the highest in the history of the program. How comfortable are you to sit him for a year knowing how rampant tampering is and the portal is, and especially for a talent like that, how much money he would make playing probably somewhere else if he doesn't get to play enough this year? That would be my biggest concern.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that about, you know, him being such a high recruit. You know this as well as anyone. Like, Alabama fans have unrealistic expectations because for a decade, Nick Saban got you unrealistic results that no one's going to replicate. Like, yeah, for Kalen DeBoer, that's a tough situation to be in. Let's shift a little bit. Chris Marler, our guest right now, with us right here, our SEC writer, LouisianaSports.net. You can catch him a number of other places as well. We'll get into later. You know, I'm looking at the schedules here as far as like toughest and who did Oklahoma make mad to deserve the schedule that they have?
Dude, Oklahoma and Florida.
Right.
Like you cannot convince me that Sankey didn't just let Sark and Kirby Smart make the schedules for them. I mean, because it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Like that schedule, and they get Michigan. I think that they get that Michigan game at home this year. That's the thing. I think that's a big one. It's going to be very fascinating to watch with Oklahoma because everyone kind of assumed the way they ran the Big 12 and the way they beat up on Texas for so long that they were going to come in and be able to you know, at least hang with like the top end and top third of this conference in the first year. And that was not the case. Worst offensive line in the history of the program, worst in the country last year, gave up 50 sacks. I don't know how the schedule will play out. I don't think Michigan's going to be that great.
Yeah.
But I will also say that it's not, there's no down parts in it, right? Like even in September, you have some like notable brands and big time teams that they're going to be facing. I think the Mateer thing is interesting because he's gotten a lot of love, and he may be a fantastic quarterback and prospect, and people that make a lot more money than me and know the game better than I do have said that with his NFL prospects. But that guy has played one game against a ranked team since he's been in college, and he only played 3 against Power 4 opponents a season ago. And I'm not trying to say that he doesn't deserve any of this, pub or notoriety or anything like that, but I will say he beat up on a lot of bad teams and smaller teams to put up some of those numbers. And I wonder what that looks like and translates over to in the SEC this year in year one.
I'm glad you mentioned that about Mateer because you had heard the rumors too, you know, and like confirmed, unconfirmed doesn't really matter. Like when in Venables' first year, Dylan Gabriel's there and he plays really well. You know, they actually have an okay first season. And then, you know, there was rumors out there that, did they ask Dylan Gabriel to move on? Did he move on himself? Doesn't really matter. He wasn't there anymore. They go to Jackson Arnold. He gets benched. He moves on. He's at Auburn now. Like, Venables is on his 3rd quarterback in as many seasons. Like, if I look at it, there might not be a coach in the SEC whose seat is hotter than Brent Venables.
Yeah, and I feel like he just got some sort of, I don't know if it was an extension.
I think it was. I think they gave him an extension like in the middle of the season last year.
I will tell you, it wasn't. I don't think it was in the middle of the season. I think when it came was at the end of the year, because he got what I remember referring to as like the Jimbo Fisher 2.0 treatment, which was not a good season. You did not play up to expectations. The team's been pretty bad. You were going to miss the bowl game, but oh my gosh, on national television in prime time, you beat Alabama. And now it's like the season kind of feels like it's not as bad because you're going to go to a postseason game. You're going to keep that bowl streak alive. The thing, Brent Venables, the the issue with him and thinking like you're right about the quarterback situation. I'm surprised you didn't bring this up either. I mean, Jackson Arnold was there for 2 years.
Yeah.
And played like a total of like one season. I mean, he had 3 different coordinators in that time. Like there was so little continuity in that program and on that team and staff. Like it's not a recipe for success. Like you said, man, the schedule does not get any easier. The concern I have if I'm him is you're supposed to be a defensive guru. How are you giving up so many points consistently, like at will, and then somehow the offense is still getting all of like the blame and focus?
Okay, so here it is. I pulled up the contract. This actually happened before last season. So this was June 21 of 2024. 6-year, $51.6 million deal.
Goodness.
$8.5 million annually. But again, that was after the good first year. He has the bad second year, and things don't look that great now. But Chris, before we get you out of here, we've been talking a lot of quarterbacks here, and rightfully so. That's the position everyone's going to follow. As far as heading into the season, where do you rank Garrett Nussmeier among SEC quarterbacks?
He's no further down than 2.
Yeah.
And first and foremost, part of that is because there's not a ton of returning quarterback starters in this league, for one. So I think he deserves the nod. And he's been really good at LSU. I think he will only get better. I mean, people forget that last year was his first year as a true starter. He's been there for a while, but it was last year was his first year as a true starter. And there were some growing pains. And then part of it especially was when he was under pressure. So my biggest question is losing that offensive line, does he get better under pressure, making better decisions? I mean, you talk about even that Ole Miss game where he had the incredible drive. I think he was only 3 of 11 or 4 of 11 on that drive. That was the game winner, or game tying touchdown. So I hope he's just a little bit more consistent, doesn't turn the ball over as well, but he is going to have more tools than he has maybe ever had around him because of what they did in the portal. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Chris Marler, social media manager here, 104.5 ESPN, our SEC writer at LouisianaSports.net. Marler, where can folks find you?
Vern Funquist on Twitter and social media, Instagram, and then just follow along with our social stuff, man. We're having a lot of fun as we count down. I think we're about 60 days away from opening weekend, so we're having a blast.
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks for hopping on today.
Thanks, dude.
All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, our own Jordan Kitchens was out there at the Manning Passing Academy in Thibodaux over the weekend. We'll get his thoughts on that, and then Ross Jackson put out an interesting article about Saints quarterback situation behind maybe the top guys. Hunter Deckers give a shot to make the roster. We'll break it all down next here on AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Get Gordon and get it done. Go to getgordon.com. You can follow him on all the social medias. I love it. Squirrel Burrell is back rocking with the G team. Elite LSU sprinter. Made the announcement. It's on social media. You can see the photos on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or all the spots. Gordon's done an awesome job with the G team, giving great NIL opportunities to athletes, not just Tigers, but so many athletes across the state of Louisiana, both the revenue sports, the Olympic sports, all of it. You can learn more about all the members of the G team by going to getgordon.com, getgordon.com, and love telling you about all the content that they do as well. Gordon sit down with members of the LSU Baseball team recently. Kim Mulkey. The Garage is the podcast studio there at Gordon's office, so you want to see all that, you can catch it on YouTube or any of their social medias. Whatever you do, you know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well, 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
Welcome back in. A Monday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Matt Moscona. Matt is out the rest of the week. A little programming note, we are all off on Friday, so there will be national shows, or we'll put in a generic show for Friday. We are all off for 4th of July. Right now, I want to talk a little Manning Passing Academy. It was the big event that occurred over the weekend out there in Thibodaux, and our own Jordan Kitchens was actually out there. I know this because Sunday night, I'm watching a video of Garrett Nussmeier throw a ball like 40 yards into a basketball goal. It was impressive stuff.
Yes.
I hear someone yelling in the background with a familiar voice, and then I look over and there's a man wearing a bucket hat in the corner of the video. And who is it? It is our own Jordan Kitchens, who seemed fired up more so than anybody in attendance, Nussmeier included. Jordan, first off,
yes,
I've never been. Set the scene for us a little bit. How was it?
Further, I want to say this, shout out to Colin Guggenheim for opening up his home for me and the boys to have a place to stay over the weekend. The best way I can explain it, man, it just felt like football paradise. You had so many different fields. One, I've never been to Nickel State facility and understood how many fields and all this. So
the fighting Cade Wazans.
Yeah, so I'm seeing shout out Cade. So I'm seeing all this for the first time. I didn't really have a perspective of how big it was and how many children there, young kids, older kids, but everybody came there for one goal in mind. That was to get better at football. No, you're watching Peyton Manning, grill some kids, he's coaching them hard. One kid threw a duck. Peyton goes, keep in mind, there's no defenders out there. He throws a duck, and Peyton goes, all sides on the defense, redo that. Straight up. He's out there coaching these kids they're about to go 10-year-olds, they're about to be a starting quarterback somewhere. But just to set the scene, man, it was just so much love and just everybody wanted to watch football. Everybody came together to get better at football, and everybody and everybody just appreciated what was going on.
I have heard nothing but great things over the years about the Manning Passing Academy. Like, everything you're telling me, I'm glad you're saying it, but it's not new to me.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I've heard, and I'm not surprised. Look, as far as our guy here in Baton Rouge, Garrett Nussmeier, goes, you had a front row seat. As I mentioned, I thought you were going to go streaking for a minute after he made the shot in the basketball goal. You were that excited.
Very.
Like, okay, give me, like, Nuss's performance compared to some of the other quarterbacks, because, like, from what I've heard, Nuss at times looked like the best one out there, but, like, from somebody who was boots on the ground, saw it with your own eyes, how'd Garrett Nussmeier look?
I mean, I'm not even going to say at times he looked like the best. Majority of the time he was out there, he looked like the best guy out there. Nuss understands playing with the crowd. You know, obviously there's going to be a lot of LSU fans there. It's QB1 for LSU, so, you know, he's giving the crowd a show. He's a showman. That's what I learned a lot about Nuss. He's a showman. But, you know, comparing him to other quarterbacks, you know, you had the good, you had the bad. Arm talent-wise, it's effortless with Nuss, of course. Like, his deep ball was
Which we knew. I mean, you know, that dude, he's got a cannon.
Yeah, you know, it's not about Nuss's arm. It's about more, can he stop the turnovers and whatnot. But if you're on a, you know, basically what Jake calls it, the underwear Olympics.
The underwear Olympics.
Underwear Olympics. Nuss, you know, stood out a lot. Obviously, I've been on Lenore Sellers. I mean, this dude is an actual specimen. I saw Lenore Sellers, and I was like, you know what? There is no way in the world I was going D1. Because if this is what the quarterback looks like, imagine what the running back looks like, imagine what the tight end looks like. So Sellers, he stood out a lot.
They don't all look like that. Like, man, we kind of look like Diego Pavia.
Hey,
like, I mean, you know.
Well, you know what? I might have a couple years of eligibility left just because of Pavia. So, hey, shout out Pavia. You know, maybe I can go get me the NIL deal. But Sellers stood out a lot. Haynes King from Georgia Tech.
Bro,
you know,
I have Jake on our morning show. Jacob Hester loves him some Haynes King, and it's funny because he's a guy. He's had such a roller coaster career. So you know, he was a high 4 or 5 star, whatever you want to call it. You know, depending on the recruiting service. Yeah, coming out of high school, like he was Mr. Everything for Texas A&M. He put him in there, and like, not only does he not perform well, he just doesn't look good. He's got kind of a funky throwing motion.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did at Georgia Tech, but like, he comes in game 1 against Florida State, you know, in week 0. Now I understand Florida State was not a good football team a year ago, but like, the guy played a good game. I don't really care what competition he played.
Yeah.
And like, that was time and time again in big moments. He made big plays. Like, I really, really like what I have seen from Haynes King over the last year. Now, as far as like, okay, we've praised Nussmeier. You mentioned Lenore Sellers. Like, these are the obvious ones that are going to show off their arm talent, right? Was there a guy out there that maybe like coming in, there was a lot of hype around you were excited to see, where you were kind of like, wasn't that impressed? You can be honest.
Oh, no. Matwire, the Oklahoma quarterback.
Mateer.
Mateer, yeah.
John Mateer.
Yeah, actually, I don't even know his name. That's how, you know, he didn't really stand out to me. I'm going to be very honest, man. If nobody told me that was Cade Klubnik, I would have never thought that was Cade Klubnik. Like, he just did not show me anything. Like, Cade Klubnik did not give me anything to where I was like, oh, this the guy that they're, you know, putting Heisman talks in. Like, Cade Klubnik and, you know, Garrett Nussmeier. They're supposed to be the best of the best. But he didn't really stand out to me. I will say this, Gio Lopez, you know, he went to South Alabama last year. He's going to North Carolina.
Yeah. They brought 2 QBs, right?
Yeah, they brought him and Max Johnson. He stood out. Like, he's a little shorter. He's a little bit on the shorter side, but his arm talent was definitely there. But the reason why I said Haynes King is just, you think of him as a runner. He was accurate. And, you know, you talked about the funky windup. He kind of looked like he cleaned it up a little bit. That's why I was so blown away by Haynes King, because how accurate he was, knowing that, you know, when you watch Georgia Tech, you just see him run a lot. He likes to run a lot. So you could tell he put a lot of work in. Damon Williams.
He won the entire thing.
He won the whole thing. And I'm telling you guys, this guy might be 5 foot and if that.
For those who don't know, Washington quarterback Damon Williams.
Damon Williams. He's, if you would have told me he was a camper, not even a football player, just a camper there, I would have believed you. But no, this dude, like I said, he might be 5'6" on a good day, slinging it accurate. I mean, ball jumping out his hands was amazing. It was just amazing to see, you know, a lot of guys you see on TV up close and personal, and actually getting to talk to them other than, you know, Mr. Antisocial Arch Manning. But it's another story for another day.
So I don't want to sound like I'm defending Cade Klubnik, but I will say this. I'm not surprised that, you know, Cade didn't show up. Cade is not a pocket passer. Yeah. Like, I'm actually a little surprised about the Lenore Sellers thing. Yeah. But when you're 6'4", 230 pounds, you're just kind of a physical specimen, right? He's wearing the
little rec specs on.
The rec specs on. what Cade Klubnik does well is like his versatility, right? His dual threat ability. So like I get it. I had heard similar reports that like Cade maybe didn't look great. Week 1, Cade Klubnik's going to be ready to go. So Tiger fans, don't get too ahead of yourself there. Before we take a break, Jordan.
Yes.
Devin Snow comes on our show every Monday morning on Off the Bench.
Yep.
He said kids were coming up to you and looking at you as if you were a Nichols coach.
Oh,
and thinking that like you're about to, like Dev's exact words were, man, you know, they'd make a great throw. They'd look over to the sidelines and Jordan being like, is this dude about to offer me? Look, be honest. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're in a safe space.
Yeah.
Did you act like a coach?
Dude, I'm a hey, no,
I'm
right?
gonna ask Dev. I'm gonna text it.
This is the truth, the God honest truth. Right hand, strike me down right now. I had the Nickel State football shirt on. I'm told you at this point they was playing 7-on-7. It was Garrett Nussmeier team versus Austin Meadows from Ole Miss. They're playing 7-on-7. I'm chirping. Okay, I'm chirping at Nuss. I'm like, man, draw some better plays up. You know, me and Nuss going at it.
Wait. You had a Nickel State shirt on.
I'll wear it tomorrow. I will wear it tomorrow. Yes, I will.
Don't let Lady Jag catch you.
Oh, hey, she be mad when I be having LSU stuff on too. So yeah.
Nichols be even worse. Don't let Lady Jag catch you, Jordan.
I'll wear the jacket, but you know I'm chirping.
Where did you buy it down there?
Oh no. See, we were calling Guggenheim. He just showed love, man.
Oh, that's right. Dev said that Guggenheim hooked y'all up.
Yeah, Guggenheim. He hooked us up with Manning Passing Academy shirts and Nickel State shirts. So yeah, I'm chirping. It was a little black kid. So you know I'm like, hey bro. I'm like, you catch an intercept, you bring me the ball. So he think I'm the DB coach. Like, yeah, for sure. I'm like, he'll catch a touchdown, me and him jumping up, bumping chest and all this. So yeah, he definitely thought I was.
You're the young coach. It's like cool with all the kids. Yeah.
He was playing his heart out. That's how bad he wanted it.
Well, I'm glad you had a good time. There were some heartbroken children that Jordan Kitchens did not offer them a scholarship on the spot. But other than that,
I feel bad.
Sounds like the Manning Passing Academy was a success. Okay, we're going to take a quick time out. We're going to stick with the quarterback talk. I had a lot of fun with it. When I get back, I'm going to break down maybe the quarterback situation for some of the top teams in the SEC and why I believe your LSU Tigers are sitting pretty among that group. That's coming up here on AFR.
AFR.
If you are thinking about selling your home, maybe you've been on the fence, you've looked at rates and everything, like if you do sell, can you afford to buy the next home? Listen, the market right now is in fuego. I was talking to Darren James over the weekend, and he was like, Matt, the start of 2025 is the best start we've ever had. I'm telling you, consumer confidence is back. It is time right now to check out Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Yes, in Baton Rouge, but all over. Like, I just opened this one up. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Slidell that Darren's selling right on the water there on Harbor Drive. You can check it out, 129. You can check it out right now at agent225.com, agent225.com. Listen, buying, selling, commercial, residential, you need a realtor, you need the best, you need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding. And now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their #1 product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes a dollar from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take a dollar until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at reliefwindows.com.
All right, we were rolling right along here on a Monday edition of AFR. About halfway done with our workday. Got about another 90 minutes or so left with you. Filling in for Matt Moscona, I am Taylor Sharp, sitting in the big boy chair. It's only my 4th time actually doing AFR. I do the morning show all the time, but we are having fun here on this Monday afternoon. A lot of quarterback talk today. And look, it's the off season. It's list season. It's talk quarterback season. That's what it is. And we're going to continue it right now because I think we've had a lot of fun doing so. I want to look at the quarterback situations of some of the top teams in the SEC. Like we had Chris Marler on about 30 minutes ago, and when him and I were chopping it up, we were talking about like, hey, some of the top teams in the SEC kind of all have quarterback situations, the question mark wise, and then some of the teams at the bottom, like a Vanderbilt or a Mississippi State, like they actually have a returning starter. It's kind of odd to look at. But when you look at the quarterback situation in the SEC, I am not saying this as a Tiger fan. I'm saying this as someone who's trying to look objectively as to what these guys did a year ago and what they have coming back. I think the Tigers stand alone at the top of the SEC in terms of quarterback situation. Garrett Nussmeier, I'm going to keep bringing this number up. Garrett Nussmeier is the leading returning passer in all of college football. He started the full season a year ago, and I get it. There was that 3-game stretch with A&M, Florida, and Alabama where he flat out did not play good. You could be the biggest Nussmeier hater, the biggest Nussmeier supporter, whatever you want to be. One thing you cannot deny is last year there was a lot more good than there was bad. He was a first-year starting quarterback in the SEC. When I make this comparison, I don't want you to be like, oh my God, Taylor, you've lost your mind. You're comparing Garrett Nussmeier to Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels. No, absolutely not. That's not what I'm doing. The jump that they have made from year 1 to year 2 is incredible. Like Burrow wins the Heisman after having a pretty good year 1. Has the best single season we've ever seen in college football. Jaden Daniels, There was a lot of people out there, probably you if you're listening, if you're being honest with yourself. At one point in the season, I was there as well. There was like, oh, maybe Jaden Daniels isn't the answer at quarterback. But guess what? You're allowed to get better in the offseason. You go look at Jaden's first year as a starting quarterback, Nussmeier's first year as a starting quarterback, and Burrow's first year as a starting quarterback. Nuss was probably the best of the three, at least in terms of first-year numbers. Again, I'm not saying he's going to take that jump. What I am saying is it's not insane if you want to say that. I'm not going to go there quite yet, but if you wanted to, like, we've seen it before, twice in recent history at this school. The offensive line is obviously a big question mark for LSU coming into 2025. You lost 4 starters on the offensive line. And the guy you returned, DJ Chester, was your starting center a year ago. A lot of people think he's going to be your starting guard. You're going to have a new center anyways. So the one returning starter you have might actually play a different position. But when I look at Garrett Nussmeier, what you have coming back skill position-wise, and the guys you went and got in the portal, I think everything's set up for him to have an excellent season. All year long, we had talked about Garrett Nussmeier can't hit the deep ball. What's going on? We thought he had this arm strength. He can't hit the deep ball. The timing's off for whatever reason. It wasn't until the UCLA game when he hit Kyle Parker down the right sideline, which one of the best throws he made all season. That was kind of the first deep ball we saw. He hit a few here and there, but it wasn't until Chris Hilton got fully healthy. All year long, we waited for Hilton to get healthy. Come Vanderbilt week, Chris Hilton gets fully healthy. Vandy, OU, Baylor in the bowl game. Chris Hilton was a big part of all those offenses. Garrett Nussmeier had 7 touchdown passes to 1 interception and completed 72% of his passes in those games with Chris Hilton in the lineup. You had no deep threats until that point. Fast forward now, you have Chris Hilton. Jelani Watkins was in the program a year ago. Now he redshirted. Can he make a step forward and make some type of impact? I think Xavion Thomas with more reps can be a deep threat for you. You bring in Barry and Brown, who a lot of people believe is the fastest guy in all of college football. There's a couple of lists that have that out there. You have a lot of guys you can go to downfield. That's going to open up everything offensively for Garrett Nussmeier. Like, I think Nuss right now, as far as situation you're going into, minus the offensive line, sits alone at the top of the SEC quarterback rankings in terms of teams with a stable quarterback. Like, okay, who's after Nuss? Lenore Sellers? Like, Lenore Sellers is very good, and he ended the season hot. There's no question about it. Like, there was a game against Missouri, 34-30, a must-win game against what at the time was a top 25 opponent. 353 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. He was great, but let's not make the numbers more than they are. There were eye-popping plays. I think there was consistency issues. Now, it's 65% completion percentage. Again, he was a lot better at the end of the year than he was at the beginning. But he had 18 touchdowns, 7 picks. I'm not going to act like he went out there and threw 30 touchdowns a year ago. I like Lenore Sellers. I think he's a heck of an athlete. I think he needs to be a little bit better in terms of a pure passer. We saw it. We saw the improvement from the beginning of the year to the end. Can he continue to get there? And then, like, everyone wants to hype up DJ Lagway. DJ Lagway, again, 5-star out of high school, was thrown in there maybe before he was ready and did some nice things after Graham Mertz went down. But, like, you would think the way people are hyping up DJ Lagway, he threw 30 touchdown passes, 10 interceptions. DJ Lagway a season ago, 59% completion, 1,900 yards, 12 touchdowns, 9 picks. I understand that Garrett Nussmeier had a turnover problem, and it manifested itself in the worst way in a 3-game stretch that you lost all 3 of those games. But 12 touchdowns, 9 picks, like, you're not going to convince me that Nuss isn't ranked over him. So many of these teams have a giant question mark. Georgia, Gunnar Stockton. We saw him do some nice things. He has yet to have a full season as a starting quarterback. The same with Marcel Reed. He came in, look, he was a Tiger killer against LSU. But he was kind of shaky after that. Now, he has a chance to improve that in year 2, just like a Garrett Nussmeier. But he wasn't a starter for a full season. Now, Diego Pavia is a guy you look at and say, okay, he made some things happen. But what happens if Diego Pavia is not sneaking up on people? People got film on Pavia now. We talked about this on the morning show today, and I kind of looked at him a lot like a Steven Garcia. Garcia was excellent in 2010. He had really good numbers. He beats Alabama, who was top 10 at the time. The team goes 10-3 with a bowl game win. The next season, Steven Garcia benched after 5 games, 4 touchdowns, 9 picks. I'm not saying that's going to be Diego Pavia, but when you're not sneaking up on people and teams are preparing for you the way they should be, it could be a little bit of a different ballgame. And like, don't get me started with Arch Manning. We're gonna dive a little bit into that in hour number 3 as far as all the hype around Arch Manning. Like, I think Arch has the ability to be a really good quarterback. We just have to see it. There are people out there, like we talked with Chris Marler a little bit earlier, ranking Arch Manning in their quarterback power rankings as the best quarterback in the SEC, and he hasn't even been a full-time starter. I don't understand where that's coming from. Like, when I look at the quarterback situations, you can rank 12 through 2 or 16 through 2 any way you want. As far as number 1, like, I'm putting Garrett Nussmeier up there, and you would have to have a hell of an argument to convince me otherwise. That doesn't mean that LSU is going to run the table and make the college football playoff and bring home a national championship. But I think going into the season, as far as quarterback situations heading into 2025, I don't think there's a team in the SEC that's got it quite as good as the LSU Tigers. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, Jordan Kitchen's going to hit us with a little Tigers in the Pros. That's coming up here on AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, evermore.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Brought to you by Action Industries. Maintenance managers, turnaround coordinators, looking to hire someone to come do work in your plant, in your refinery. You get that proposal across your desk from Action Industries, make sure you take a long, hard look. Because my friends over in Action Industries are just awesome. They're awesome people, and they're a great local business that's been serving our community since 1982. So 42 years. Listen, there are some enormous industrial contractors. They're great companies, great businesses. But do you ever feel like your 100-person job isn't the most important thing to that mega company, that mega contractor? Well, with Action Industries, you would be their number one priority. You are getting all of their best people. And Action Industries, their safety record beats the industry standard. And look, the quality of their work is why they keep getting hired time and time again for into 5 decades now. It's Action Industries. Check them out online. Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics.
Welcome back in. Final segment, hour number 2 here on a Monday edition of After Further Review, brought to you by Relief Windows. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Mr. Matt Moscona, who is out on a much-needed vacation. All right, we only got a few more minutes to close this hour out. Jordan Kitchens has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
What do we have, Mr. Kitchens?
All right. So starting off, we have Angel Reese last night dropped 24 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Hey, because, you know, a lot of people like to talk about the field goal percentage. On 52% from the field at a 92-85 win versus the LA Sparks.
How many of those rebounds were on our own miss? I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding. I only did that because you brought the comment up.
Well, you know how people are going to go, blah, blah, blah. But this was Angels. She recorded her 4th consecutive game of 15 or more rebounds, which is the largest streak. Well, yeah, the longest streak in WNBA history. So record-breaking Angel Reese.
On a little hot streak right now.
They're a little hot streak. So let's continue on with a couple more LSU women basketball players. We have Anissa Morrow last night for the Connecticut Sun.
God, she was underrated at LSU.
Very, very underrated. It's hard when you fall enough for Angel Reese. But 16 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and 5 steals. This is her 2nd consecutive game with a double-double. So Anissa Morrow starting to get her feet underneath her in the WNBA. Haley Van Lith also plays for the Chicago Sky with Angel Reese. She had 5 minutes, 2 assists. Nothing too crazy, but she's still a former Tiger. And bringing it to the baseball diamond, DJ LeMahieu. They went 1 for 2 over the weekend with 1 walk. And to finish it off, we got to talk big money, Taylor. Big money.
Big money.
Big money.
You talking like NBA money?
Oh, we talking mama, stop working your job. And also, I'm going to have to buy my mama a new house and a new car. So Naz Reid, former Tiger Naz Reid, signs a 5-year, $125 million contract with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm a little upset about that. Would have liked to see Naz, maybe play for the Pelicans, maybe.
So,
but,
it's weird. Like, obviously, Anthony Edwards isn't going anywhere, right? But
nope.
First 2 moves Minnesota made, like, if this tells you anything about the core they like,
yeah.
They just gave Julius Randle a pretty big deal. Now they give Naz 5-year, $125 million. Yeah. Like, that's a team right there. Like, I know Randle's a little bit older, but Naz is a young piece. Anthony Edwards is super young. Like, that's a team that if you can establish a core, get some role players around them, like, watch out for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They've been sneaky in the playoffs the last couple years. But, man, when I look at Naz Reid, you could just see it when he was at LSU, right? I mean, he was just one of those guys. I remember I went to Naz Reid's very first game at LSU back when the Tigers went on that run to the Sweet 16, won the SEC and all that. And
the good days.
Yeah, and a buddy of mine sent me a text, and he said, hey, what do you think of Naz Reid? I was like, looks like Naz Reid might be the best player on the team. We'll see his consistency. Now, obviously, Tremont Waters was incredible that year, and Skylar Mays played a big part. Cavell Bigby Williams, like that team was incredible, right? But like you could see the raw ability as a 17, 18-year-old freshman. Like you could see that it was there. And like, when he went pro, there were a lot of people that were like, I don't know if he's ready. But I mean, dude, like he had 1-2 years of maybe average play. Yeah. It's been 2.5, 3 years now where Naz Reid has been like the guy coming off the bench. I don't mean the guy for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean the sixth man in the NBA.
He won sixth man of the year.
He won sixth man of the year. He did. Yeah. Like Naz Reid, his NBA, like he's going to play, if injuries don't derail him, knock on wood, he's going to play as long as he wants to. Like this is a guy with like Garrett Temple type career, like a lot more talented, but like Garrett Temple played 13 years in the NBA.
He was on the Pelicans forever.
Like Naz Reid is on that type of projection. Shout out to Naz Reid. He's a guy that
big money.
Baton Rouge is not a huge basketball market, but like I feel like a lot of people forget about him when they're talking about Tigers doing great things in the pros. Like I follow basketball, you follow basketball. We have arguments about it twice a week. Like Naz Reid's a guy that is under the radar. Like shout out to him. He has been an incredible pro for the Minnesota Timberwolves. All right, that's going to do it for hour number 2. We got 60 minutes left with you here on AFR.
After further review.
All right, it's After Further Review. We're glad you're with us. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Speaking of which, Rouse's.com. Father's Day this weekend. Maybe you're going to be grilling burgers for Dad. You want to build a better burger. Rouse's can help you do it. Get by any of the Rouse's locations. You can get all the trimmings, the fixings, the sides that you need for your burgers or whatever you're going to be eating for Father's Day. You want to buy Dad a couple of steaks to throw on the grill, you could do that, of course, at Rouse's in their great butcher department, their meat section. Maybe you let someone else take care of it. They got great catering trays over at Rouse's. You can order there. Heading up to Omaha, stock up those ice chests before you hit the road for the drive up to the Midwest, or if you're just hanging out here this week for Father's Day or to watch the College World Series, whatever you need, they got it at Rouse's. Get there, check out that weekly ad on the app on the homepage. If you're doing your grocery shopping, you want to save, they'll always find ways for you to do that. Of course, they love to source locally. Rouse's, born in Louisiana, the #1 supermarket in the entire Southeast. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's. This feels like home.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
I'm Nick DeLuca. NHL free agency beginning tomorrow. Mitch Marner on the move. Former Leaf star headed to the Vegas Golden Knights as part of a sign-in trade, agreeing to an 8-year, $96 million contract with Vegas. Marner coming off a career-best season where he racked up 102 points with 27 goals, was set to be the top free agent available on the market. Meanwhile, the Panthers keeping a couple of key pieces. Florida signing star forward Brad Marchand to a 6-year deal, just under $32 million. Marchand was acquired at the deadline, was huge in the Cup final win. Florida also re-signing star defenseman Aaron Ekblad, 8-year deal with an annual cap hit around $6 million. NBA free agency moments away. Knicks still looking for a head coach. Mike Brown will have a second meeting with the team and has emerged as a strong candidate per ESPN Shams Charania. NFL, Steelers, and Dolphins getting a big deal done today. Pittsburgh acquiring all-pro corner Jalen Ramsey and tight end Jonnu Smith. Star safety Minka Fitzpatrick heading back to Miami.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you had in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Welcome in hour number 3 here on a Monday edition of After Further Review. Matt Moscona on vacation all week long. I've been in for the last 3 days, and we got 60 minutes left in our workday today. Sitting in for Matt Moscona in the host chair, I'm Taylor Sharp. We got Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And the man with no drop, Mr. Jordan Kitchens.
Jordan from 3.
Okay, so you've done the same, like,
yeah, that's what it's gonna
makeshift drop for 3 hours.
Yeah.
If, like, we have one made for you and it's not something similar to that, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Well, trust me, I'm gonna get to it. I'm not gonna lie. Matt told me to get to that, so I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to that. Scouts honor.
Seems like it's high on your priority list. That was a week ago, and we still don't have. You know, what do we do?
Hey, Manic Passing Academy.
No, I was about to say, not everybody skipped town Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, well,
okay.
Not I was here grinding. I was here grinding a couple days before that. I was here grinding.
I know, Thursday and Friday.
Hey, I had to hop out the foxhole, bro. I had to hop out the foxhole.
No. Actually, you can't have a Jordan drop.
Yeah.
We needed you in crunch time. You weren't here.
Hey.
Jordan showed up in crunch time. You weren't here.
Hey, all I'm going to say is I put my days in weeks advance. There's couple people around here that just show up.
Me, Paul, and Jacob Beck had to do like 3 shows on Friday.
Hey, shout out to y'all. Shout out to the boys that
while you were out giving children fake scholarships, we were in the studio grinding for like 12 hours.
I call that inspiring the youth. You know, you got to inspire the youth. Inspire the youth.
True community service.
Yeah, community service.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just giving back to the community.
Jordan Kitchens is a youth outreach program. Yes. All right, look, we got a lot to get to. We're going to talk a little LSU football here in a minute. Coming up next segment, 5:15, Jace LeJeune of Gridiron Football is going to hop on, preview the Tigers football season in 2025. The Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony for the class of 2025 was on the Saturday. Two big-time names related to LSU football were in there. I'll kind of give you my thoughts on their careers in Baton Rouge. Right now, though, USA Today put out an article, LSU Wire, I should say, Athlon Sports 2025 College Football Preview, which was released earlier this summer. It's the magazine. A lot of you probably read it. Well, they put out the first team All-SEC honors. 2 LSU Tigers made that list. On the defensive side of the ball, it was Whit Weeks. No surprise there. You look at Weeks, I mean, he proved to be one of the best all-around linebackers in college football a year ago. He's going into his junior season. And, like, there were games last year. Like, okay, the numbers as a whole are great. 120 tackles, 3.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. Like, he was great. But when he took over in big moments, in big-time games, to me, that's what set Whit Weeks apart last year. South Carolina, game that came down to the wire. You had to have it. 11 tackles. Ole Miss game, went into overtime. You had to have it. 18 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, and a gotta-have-it game. Remember the Arkansas game? He had 9 tackles. He had a sack. He had an interception that he took down to like the 3-yard line. The Oklahoma game, the last game of the regular season, 15 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble. You get the point. In the biggest of moments last year, Whit Weeks shined the brightest. That's what big-time players do. That is no surprise to me. I think Weeks is going to have a heck of a year. But yes, he proved to be one of the best linebackers in the country. Yes, he performed in big games. The D as a whole, I think, is going to be a lot better in year 2 under Blake Baker. I've talked about this a few times. Before Blake Baker got to Missouri, they were one of the worst defenses in the country. Very similar to the LSU Tigers, who had a historically bad defense in 2023 under Matt House. His first year at Missouri, he made them a respectable defense. It's kind of what he did last year at LSU. His second year at Missouri, they were a top 30 defense in college football. I'm not saying LSU is going to be a top 30 defense, but I think they made moves in the transfer portal to improve at a lot of key positions. Your safeties should be a lot better than they were a year ago. If you can get solid D-line play, your linebackers are going to be really good. Like I just mentioned, Whit Weeks, Devon Keys is probably going to slide in there and be that other inside linebacker next to him. Another guy who ended the season on about as high of a note as you can. And then you have Harold Perkins at star. You spread him out on the edge. That frees up Whit Weeks to come in and make some more plays. I am all for Whit Weeks being first team All-SEC. I get it. I think Athlon's nailed this. Now, the other player that made first team All-SEC, according to Athlon Sports, was Berrien Brown, and he made it as a returner. Again, kind of understandable. Because even as a receiver, like Berrien Brown was really good at Kentucky. In 3 years at Kentucky, with bad quarterback play, he had 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns. He also had another 2 touchdowns rushing. But the return game was incredible. Really, the kick return. He's primarily a kick return. Like punt return, he had 11 returns for 85 yards in a 3-year career. His kick returns, 50 returns, 1,400 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Averaging 29.3 yards per return. Yeah, that'll be an improvement on LSU's team this year. The return game. It's funny, you look at the LSU return game. This staff has done such a good job at filling that position. Think back Brian Kelly's first year. Put Malik Neighbors back there against Florida State. He fumbled. You pull him out. You go to Jack Besh for the majority of that season. And really, you just ask Jack Besh to fair catch it. He fumbles the opening kickoff against Tennessee. You go on to get blown out in that game. You go to Javen Nicholas for 2 seasons. And Javen Nicholas's job was go back there, fair catch it, you're sure-handed. Last season, you went with Aaron Anderson for a time. It was Avion Thomas for a time. Like, both of those guys have kickoff return touchdowns last year. Thomas in the bowl game, Aaron Anderson against Oklahoma. You went from having nobody back there and a walk-on in Javen Nicholas to go fair catch it. I'm sorry, I've been saying Javen Nicholas. Clayton. Clayton was back there. But same thing. Greg Clayton standing back there, fair catching the ball. And then that's all you've asked him to do. Who is, again, a former walk-on. Now, you have potentially Barry and Brown, who set all kinds of records at Kentucky in terms of returns. Aaron Anderson has a kickoff return touchdown back in 2024. Xavier Thomas had a kickoff return touchdown. Jelani Watkins, who redshirted a year ago because he was a little undersized, can he make an impact? He's a track star at LSU. We know the kind of speed he has. You have turned that into a position where, like, it was a glaring question mark. Like, that was the biggest issue with Brian Kelly's first 2 years. You got to figure out something on special teams, to now potentially a position of strength. So that's the good. Week's first team All-ACC linebacker. Barry and Brown, first team All-ACC returner. Garrett Nussmeier, second team All-SEC quarterback. Behind Arch Manning. We talked about this a little bit with Chris Marler, and I brought this up. I am not trying to sound like a homer or anything like that, but Garrett Nussmeier last season, 29 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards passing. Yes, he had some turnover issues at times, although he ended the season really, really good. Just one turnover in his last 3 games. When I first looked at that list, I was like, oh, they didn't go Garrett Nussmeier. They like the versatility and the running ability of Lenore Sellers. They put Sellers first. Fine, I'm good with that. Arch Manning has not been an everyday starting quarterback ever in college football. And he's on his 3rd year. Am I missing something? I am. Look, I think Arch Manning has all the tools to be a good starting quarterback in the SEC. I actually think he will be a pretty good starting quarterback. But Texas loses a ton. Matthew Golden, Isaiah Bond, Gunnar Helm at tight end. You lost your top 3 receivers from a year ago. Jaden Blue at running back, yeah, he's gone. You get Wisner back. You get C.J. Baxter back, but you lose your left tackle in Kelvin Banks, who's going to start for the Saints in 2025. Texas is still going to be good. They lost a lot in 2023, and Sark did a good job of replacing them in 2024. I don't see why he can't do that again. I mentioned the receivers they lost in Golden and Bond. You brought in Khalid Lockett, a 5-star. You brought in Jamie French, a 5-star. Both of those guys were high on this LSU coaching staff's list of needs. So Steve Sarkisian did a good job of replacing a Bond, of replacing a Matthew Golden. But they're still unproven. The talent is there. The potential is there. You haven't seen it on the field yet. Like, Arch Manning, through no fault of his own, is going to make a lot of enemies this year in college football because of crap like this. Because people are trying to overhype this guy because of the name on the back of his jersey when he hasn't really played. I mean, he's got some spot starts here and there, but he hasn't been an everyday starting quarterback ever. Again, I think Arch Manning's a good quarterback. I think he will be at the end of the season. We'll look back on him and be like, oh yeah, Arch was one of the better quarterbacks in the country. You're doing this based on potential. I don't think you can do that when you have a guy like Garrett Nussmeier who's proven it. I mean, hell, even Lenora Sellers has proven more than Arch Manning. And I like Arch Manning. I thought Arch Manning got a lot of unnecessary hate coming out of high school. Everybody said, the only reason Arch Manning's a 5-star is because of his name. I actually thought Arch had some potential. But now it's gotten to where kind of going a little overboard on the preseason hype. I get it. He's a Manning. You want him to be good. It's good for college football if he's good. It's good for ratings. I understand all of that. And I understand all these national writers trying to pump him up. But you have to use a little bit of common sense and say, this guy did it for a whole year. This guy showed that he has the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in college football. This guy over here is a former 5-star and his last name's Manning. Gee, I wonder which one I'm going to put as my first team All-SEC quarterback. To me, it's really not a question as to who should be at the top. Now, again, I mean, a lot of people disagree with me, but I don't understand. Like, the Arch Manning hype is getting more and more that it's kind of deafening at this point. And it's not fair to Arch either. let Arch Manning in Texas go to Ohio State and lose week 1 and let them lose by 2 touchdowns. There are going to be so many people that are coming after him. Oh, well, Arch Manning's a bust. Oh, he's a typical guy living off his family's last name. He was overhyped coming out of high school. Losing to Ohio State week 1 is not going to make Arch Manning a worse quarterback. All the praise that comes with it, he's going to get a lot of hate. They were putting way too much expectations on this kid before he has proven anything at the collegiate level. All right, we're about to take a timeout. Before we take this timeout, though, I do want to mention one more thing in regards to LSU football. So over the weekend, the Tigers landed a commitment from 3-star cornerback Desirian Ellis. Des Ellis, as a junior last year, actually played a lot of quarterback. 2,100 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He also had 827 yards on the ground, 10 touchdowns. Franklin Parish is where he plays. He led him to a 10-2 record and a quarterfinals appearance. This guy screams athlete because he's going to play corner for you on defense. He's a 3-star. I don't care about 3 stars as much as like who offered you and how much do you believe in that coaching staff. Corey Raymond is recruiting him, which is good enough for me. Corey Raymond's forgot more about DBs than I'll ever know. Also, he's 6'2". He's the type of rangy guy you need in the secondary. He can put on a little bit of weight. It just mentions his athleticism at the quarterback position, both passing and rushing the ball. This is the type of guy you can bring in and in a few years look back potentially and say, hey, that was a 3-star. That guy was a diamond in the rough. You've got a guy who started for you the last 2 years in Ashton Stamps, who was a 3-star. Very similar situation. I think he has room to grow, but I think Ashton Stamps, at least last season, was a pretty solid corner for the most part. I hope he takes that next step this year and becomes a starting corner on the team. P.J. Woodland last year didn't play a ton in the regular season, but all the hype in fall camp was, man, P.J. Woodland looks good. Watch out for P.J. Woodland. I know he's a 3-star, but P.J. Woodland's going to earn a spot on this team. He was a 3-star out of the state of Mississippi. I don't look at stars as much as who's recruiting him and how much faith do I have in that coaching staff. And this defensive staff, Blake Baker, Kyle Williams, Kevin Peoples, Corey Raymond, like, to me, that's a really good coaching staff. And I think if anybody can make something out of this guy, it is our own Corey Raymond. All right, I'm going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, Jace LeJeune of Gridiron Football is going to hop on. We're going to preview LSU's upcoming football season. It's coming up next here on AFR.
AFR.
By Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Y'all, whenever we talk about the pool building process, I don't want this to be boring to you, but it's important that I point out how Duplessis goes about their process, because it gives color and description to why they were able to give a 10-year workmanship warranty. Like when some companies say, we'll build your pool in 2 weeks, like that's not a real thing. At Duplessis, the excavation takes 2 to 3 days. Then they'll shoot the gunite. Takes 21 days for gunite, for concrete to cure. So they're not going to proceed until those 21 days have passed. The product will last longer, so they're not going to rush the process. After you let that tiling and coping cure for 2 weeks, then you add water. Before you add water, then you plaster. So it's why a lot of pools start to fail in 2 to 3 years, because they don't do it right. You'll never worry about that with Duplessis Builders.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies. We've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability. Because your well-being is more than a priority, it's our purpose.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, I mean, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first two floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
Welcome back in. Monday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Matt Moscona, who is on a much-needed vacation. Right now, we're going to go out to the phone lines. He covers LSU for Gridiron Football, and arguably his most important role, he is my broadcast partner on Varsity Sports Now as the voice of the Episcopal Knights. Jace, LeJeune, how are you today?
Doing good, my broadcasting partner, Taylor. What's going on, man?
Not a whole lot. You know, you and I, we got the Episcopal Knights football schedule on Saturday. I'm gonna have to miss one. I'm gonna have to miss a game.
Already.
I know already. Look, the family wants me to go to Orlando to Halloween Horror Nights in September. What are you gonna do? You gotta say yes.
Yeah, you can't turn that down, huh?
All right, Jace. You guys actually at Gridiron Football had a football camp this weekend. How'd that go?
Went really good, Taylor. This was actually our last camp. We did this all season. We were actually at Louisiana Christian University up in Pineville. I think it was a great opportunity, Taylor. We had players all the way from 6th grade all the way to upcoming seniors. And the whole Louisiana Christian coaching staff, they really coached the camp and really gave some really good advice to the guys, and they really worked one-on-one with a lot of the guys too. So it was not only a great opportunity for us to recruit guys to play in our Gridiron Football All-American Bowl game at the end of the year, but it was also a great opportunity for these coaches to look at some prospects because with the era of transfer portal and how it is now, there's a lot of really good talent out there because of it. So I think this was a good opportunity for coaches to see some of that talent and get some of these guys some recognition.
Speaking of talent, LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier out at the Manning Passing Academy this weekend, and all reports were that he performed really well. As far as SEC quarterbacks going into the 2025 season, where does Garrett Nussmeier rank on your list?
To me, I mean, even though I am an LSU beat writer,
I get it.
LSU, going to the year, I mean, you have to say he's number one. I mean, just in terms of returning production, and you have a lot of guys on there with a high ceiling, right? Wenzo Sellers, he's got a high ceiling. DJ Lagway's got a high ceiling. Arch Manning as well, but nobody's as experienced as Garrett Nussmeier coming in, and he was the most productive out of that group. You're talking about last year, right? He threw for over 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, and you saw how productive an LSU quarterback can be going into their second year. And Garrett was by far even way more productive in his first year, considering you had Joe Burrow and Jaden Daniels, and you saw the lead they made in their second year. So without a doubt, with the weapons he's got coming back to at wide receiver, without a doubt, Garrett Nussmeier would be entering the season as the number one quarterback in the SEC.
Jace, look, the baseball team just went to Omaha and won the national championship. Baseball is behind us. To me, it is officially football season. And, this has been a football-heavy show that I've had today on AFR. And, a lot of the show I've been kind of talking about, okay, well, you've improved a lot on defense, but you brought in some weapons on offense as well. Like, I thought this staff did a really nice job in the transfer portal of filling needs. If you had to pick one transfer, like, I'm ready to see that guy play in 2025, who is that?
Really, I'm looking towards the defense side of the ball. There's a lot of really good guys you can really point to. I mean, I'm really excited to see Barron Brown. But if I had to choose one right now, I really want to say a combo here. I'm going to say Patrick Payton and Jack Pyburn on defense, just because you're replacing two guys on the edges in Brandon Swinson and Savion Jones, and they're pretty productive. And I think Kevin Peoples really got a whole lot out of them too last year. Now you bring in two guys that have been very productive. Patrick Payton at Florida State, 16 career sacks, ACC Defensive Rookie of the Year. Jack Pyburn was somebody that LSU is familiar with. He played against LSU last year and was really productive as an SEC player. So he knows what it's like to play in the SEC. So I think if they get production on the outside, on the edges, this could be not only a good LSU defense, but it can be a great LSU defense, especially if those two can come in with even more production than the duo LSU had last year.
Jace, as far as the offense goes, like I've had you on before, and we have talked about the offensive line, right? All the bodies they have to replace there. Like, that's a big concern for people coming into the year. And then on the flip side, everyone said, hey, you got solid pass catchers coming back. You did a really good job in the transfer portal. A position that's kind of getting overlooked right now, at least in my eyes, is that running back group. Like, you obviously have Caden Durham, and you have talent behind him, but not a lot of proven talent. Durham's obviously your number one back, but like behind him, who do you kind of see emerging as that second guy?
Really, it has to be Caleb Jackson. I know everybody's going to look towards Harlem Berry, right? He's a new flashy toy they have, right? The 5-star, number one running back in America. But this is kind of similar to, a couple years ago, and this was LSU's 2019 season, right? When LSU brought in Tyron Davis-Price, they brought in John Emery, and John Emery was a 5-star running back, and that's what everybody was looking towards. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire stepped up and had the season he had. You're going to need something like that from Caleb Jackson, because he also brings something to the table that the other two don't necessarily bring, and that's a guy you can pound up the middle, in between the tackles, in between the guards, and Caleb Jackson. He also has the ability to break away for a big run. So this is a guy that's told us that he's dedicated. He decided. A lot of people thought he was going to enter the transfer portal. He decided to stay, and after a long discussion with Frank Wilson, and decided that he was going to stay and get better, drop a couple of pounds in the off season. He's saying he's trying to get to 225 in the summer is his goal. So if he can get to that healthy combination, he's got a really unique blend of power and speed. If he can get that right, Caleb Jackson has to be the other guy that has to step up, because you don't want Caden Durham to, get all of the touches. You want somebody to help with that, and you can easily transition Harlem Berry, get a little bit more snaps and plays, especially on the edges. That's where he's most dangerous. So it has to be Caleb Jackson, especially your third and short yardage. He has to be your guy, and he's going to have to be the guy that steps up.
Outside of Jackson, like I agree with you. He's going to get first crack at that RB2 role, or, whatever you want to call it. Maybe it can be a transfer. It can be somebody that's coming back that was a little under the radar last year. Like, give me a guy that has, like, breakout potential this year in 2025.
Yeah, there could be. We talked about. You talked about on the last segment about Barron Brown. That's the guy a lot of people are really excited about, just because his ability as a returner, and really you can put three different guys back there. I think LSU's had that luxury, which they haven't really had in the Kelly era. Now you got 3 guys that are capable of scoring a touchdown on any given play. And Aaron Anderson, Davion Thomas, they return kicks last year. But Barian Brown's a guy that has really had a really good spring too as a wide receiver. So I'm really excited to see how they really put him in the fold. But really a guy that he's actually a familiar name, but we're waiting for that breakout year, and it's really Chris Hilton, just because of the injuries and not being able to stay healthy on the field. But you saw what he did in the last 2 games of the season against Oklahoma and Baylor when he gets caught up. And if he can have a whole off season, stay healthy, and get into the season, he brings an extra dimension. That deep ball passing attack, and Garrett Nussmeier's really strong. That's a big strength of this game, is his deep ball passing ability. So if he can come in the fold, stay healthy, there's a couple of different receivers that can step up to the fold. Aaron Anderson, Chris Hilton, Davion Thomas, Aaron Brown, but there's a lot of different options. The tight ends can also have a breakout year, especially Bauer Sharp. I mean, he's really looked really great in the spring.
Cousin Bauer.
Yep, exactly. Your cousin. There you go. But Bauer looked really good this spring too, and everybody knows about the potential of Trey Green and what he can bring to the table. So, really, any one or two of those wide receivers, you got just so much talent in that room. Just one or two of those guys has to break out and be that number one guy. The question is who's going to be, and any one of those guys can be that breakout star.
Switching to the defensive side of the ball right now, Jace LeJeune of Gridiron Football, our guest right now. Jace, I've mentioned a few times about the defense jump year 1 to year 2 that Missouri took under Blake Baker just a few years ago. What do you expect from this defense here in Baton Rouge? Can they make a similar jump?
I believe they can. And we talked about how great this offense is, the potential this offense can be. Really, in the spring, the defense got the better hand of the offense. They got the edge on this offense when we talk about spring football. It was the defense that won majority of the time when they went 11 on 11, the times that we were able to see them in the spring. The defensive line should be really good. You return some production, some talent, and McKinley and Bro on the inside, on the edges. I think you upgraded there with your with the guys we talked about earlier. And we all know about the linebacking duo and getting those 2 guys healthy. What Weeks even said, by far this is the best defense he's been a part of. And him and Harold Perkins have not been out there.
Yeah.
So when you get those 2 guys out there fully healthy, I think they're going to run free and have really great seasons as the best linebacking duo in the country. And at the cornerback position, that's certainly upgraded. And just Corey Raymond being able to have his hands on that secondary at the cornerback position, we've seen that production get a little bit better, and the talent, obviously, DJ Pickett being involved at corner. The question is going to be the safety position. I think whoever can step up at that position group fills in that void in the really the back end of the defense could really change this from maybe a good defense to a great defense. That's my only question mark. But the front 7 have really high expectations for this LSU defense with Blake Baker.
All right, Jace, before we get you out of here, one more quick one. I understand that it's early, and you and I can both change our minds 3 times before now in the beginning of the season. Early vibe check, though, LSU versus Clemson. Did the Tigers finally get one in a season opener?
Well, the vibe check is a lot of nervousness.
Yeah, understandably so.
A lot of nervousness. Now, Brian Kelly said that this is the best roster he's ever had at LSU. Garrett Nussmeier, he's talking about the Manning Passing Academy. He said this past week this is the best roster LSU has ever had. Now, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to back it up, and everybody's been saying that this is the most critical, most important game for Brian Kelly ever since he took the job at LSU by far. So this is it's going to be tough. You saw how they struggled really in neutral site games to start off the season. Now you're actually going to be on the road to start off the season at Clemson. So it's going to be a tough place to play to open the season. But there's a lot of confidence inside the program that they can do it. Obviously, they put a lot of stress on that first game and winning that first game. I think LSU definitely has a lot more to lose with that game than Clemson. You saw Clemson lose the first game of the year, get blown out last year, and still lose 3 games and make the playoffs. So, but for LSU, there's a lot less room to really work with there. So Clemson, I mean, a lot of LSU fans say until they see it, Clemson's probably going to be the favorite. But right now, I mean, I think that's what everybody is thinking until LSU proves they can get it done.
Jace LeJeune of Gridiron Football. Jace, what's Gridiron Football got coming up?
We got a lot of stuff going on, Taylor. I appreciate that. So our website, gridironfootballusa.com, you talked about that camp when I first came on. We got a lot of coverage from that camp. But we're doing a lot of cool things in the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we're going to have some LSU stuff. We'll go position-by-position breakdowns. But we're also doing our high school media days in the next couple of weeks. So we're going to have a big 3 different locations. We're going to go to different high schools across the state of Louisiana, and we'll do some season previews on those teams across the state. So and they're all going to be in our print magazine that's coming up right before the start of football season. So just keep up with us. Go to our website. It's gridironfootballusa.com. That's where you can go. And we're also releasing our print magazine. So more about that, follow us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and you always find us at gridironfootballusa.com.
All right, Jace, thanks for hopping on today, man.
Anytime, man. Can't wait to the season. Can't wait. We calling some more Episcopal games this fall. Can't wait for that opportunity.
Absolutely. I am excited about it. That was Jace LeJeune right there with Gridiron Football, the LSU beat writer over there, and the guy who carries me on the high school football broadcast every Friday night. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we get back, Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame had their 2025 induction ceremony for their newest class. We're talking about it next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Atmos Energy, our Smart Choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
We are brought to you by our friends over at Our Lady of the Lake, champion health partner of LSU Athletics. But they've also been a great partner of ours. Our Lady of the Lake is sponsoring our coverage in Omaha. They're our title sponsor of our coverage in Omaha with Hunt Palmer. So we're able to give you boots on the ground coverage there. And the truth is, when it comes to the mission of the Franciscan missionaries of Our Lady, the sisters, that's continued to trickle down through all the different generations and all of the different parts of the FMOL health system, which includes Our Lady of the Lake in Baton Rouge or Our Lady of the Lourdes, many of the different hospitals and clinics, and even the Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, the standalone Children's Hospital in Baton Rouge. You see those touch points of access and convenience that everybody wants, and high-level health care. The same health care that the LSU student-athletes are receiving, that the LSU students are receiving, is the health care that you and I receive from Our Lady of the Lake. It's Our Lady of the Lake and LSU. Together, we roar.
Welcome back in. Monday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Matt Moscona. Over the weekend, the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame welcomed their 2025 inductees, and it was a class of about 12 or 13. Congratulations to everyone that made it. Glenn Gilbo's in there, Del Weiner's in there, April Burkhalter's in there, Andrew Whitworth, the great LSU offensive tackle who played 16 years in the league. Like, I know I'm missing a few, but excellent class. But I want to look right now at two, Andrew Whitworth and Nick Saban. Look, we know about Andrew Whitworth, right? He was a 4-year starter here at LSU. He was a multi-time All-American. He got to the NFL. All he did in the NFL was play 16 years for the Bengals and Rams. He appeared in 239 games. He was selected to 4 Pro Bowls. He won Walter Payton Man of the Year award, and he won a Super Bowl with the Los Angeles Rams. Not a bad career for a left tackle. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. I believe that. Also, the durability, the consistency, unmatched. There was twice in his NFL career when he played less than 15 games. And he played in the NFL for 16 seasons. On the offensive line, as hard-nosed of a position that is hard to do. Shout out to Andrew Whitworth, an all-time great LSU Tiger. Right now, though, I want to talk a little bit about Nick Saban. Because for obvious reasons, there are people in the state of Louisiana that have a certain opinion of Nick Saban. I am not one of them. I think that Nick Saban is the greatest football coach that ever lived. I don't really think there's a question about it. There was a tweet that I wanted to play. The internet's acting up. We don't have time anyways. No big deal. Basically, Nick Saban said, I was proud of what we built here and the type of program we built. Well, he hit the nail on the head on that one. This man completely changed the attitude and the mindset of this university. I'm a big numbers guy, and I understand numbers don't always play on the radio. But I decided to look just how bad the program was before he got here and how good a shape he left it in. Because that's what a lot of these great coaches say. I want to leave a spot in a better position than it was when I got there. The 10 years before Nick Saban got to LSU, they averaged 5 wins a season. After Nick Saban left LSU, and all he did was go 8-4, 9-3, 13-1, win a national championship, another 9-3 season. After he left those 5 years, the next 10, LSU averaged 10.3 wins per season. A complete turnaround, about as big of a turnaround as you can have in college sports. And it's continued to this day for the most part. Look, I love Les Miles. I have a lot higher opinion of him than most LSU fans. I'll give him credit for keeping that train rolling. And Orgeron had early success. Hopefully Brian Kelly makes a run at the college football playoff this year. But it was Nick Saban that made all of this possible. Saban established a winning program at LSU. It stood the test of time. Hopefully Brian Kelly keeps this thing rolling. When I look back at Nick Saban's time At LSU, I was young. I'm only 28 years old right now. I remember that team. That 03 national championship team. I could probably give you the starting lineup right now on offense if I needed to. Like, that was the team that part of the reason I fell in love with LSU football was that 03 national championship team. When he was at Alabama, I hated Nick Saban. But you had to as a fan, right? Anybody that has that competitive spirit, you hated Nick Saban because he won, he created a dynasty, and it was at a rival school. But you're not going to sit up here, nobody is, and tell me that you did not respect the man that Nick Saban was as a football coach. 7 national championships, the greatest college football coach that ever lived. It's funny. Jordan, you know how I feel about Tom Brady, right?
Yeah, you love Tom Brady.
I spent 19 of the 22 years that Tom Brady was in the NFL absolutely despising that man. I always say, like, if I could go back and relive one career, it'd be Tom Brady's because I didn't really appreciate it fully the first time. Yeah. Like, it wasn't really until Brady got to Tampa Bay, won the first year without Bill Belichick when nobody thought it was possible at like 41 years old. I sat back and I'm like, I've kind of run out of reasons to hate the guy. It's kind of the same with Nick Saban. He's excellent on College game day.
Yeah.
And if you sit back and you take the burning passion that is purple and gold out of me and take away the years I spent hating this man at Alabama, you got to kind of love Nick Saban.
Oh, yeah.
For everything he did at LSU, for everything he's doing now on College game day. I understand that Pat McAfee is a showman. People love him and all that. Nick Saban is the best one on College game day, and it's really not even close. I can sit there and listen to Nick Saban by himself for 3 hours and enjoy every second of my Saturday morning. Like, what he did here. And not just in the athletic program. Like, he talked in his speech a little bit about, when I was here, me and Skip Bertman, we took $15 million, and in 3 months, we built an academic center for the football team so that all these guys could graduate. And since then, for the most part, there's been a few lulls in between. Like, LSU's done a pretty good job of graduation rate.
Yeah.
Like, everything at LSU, like it or not, is centered around the football program. Oh, yeah. Nick Saban built this football program as far as I'm concerned. Like,
without question.
I get it. He was at Alabama for a number of years, and you hated him because you still wanted him to be a part of your team. Looking back on it, that's exactly how I feel. But you should have nothing but respect and admiration for everything Nick Saban did and everything that he will continue to do. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we get back, we do not have Jimmy on today. We'll do a little Ask Us to close this thing out here on a Monday edition of AFR.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. One of the things that's really worth stressing when I tell you all the time about why I love driving a Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point Volkswagen, their vehicles are manufactured right here in the US of A. So you get the great German engineering, safety features, performance, all of it, without the cost and the benefit of supporting American jobs. But even more importantly right now, as people talk about tariffs and rising costs and all that stuff, these vehicles are manufactured in the US of A, so you don't even have to worry about the tariffs and all that conversation. So another benefit of shopping at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they're awesome people as well. Volkswagen, so much it's a culture, it's a vibe, it's fun to drive, and they're fun to deal with as well. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck. your #1 park system in the nation.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luva, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh yeah, they also do interior shutters.
Love telling you about Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, but something that I really want to stress, especially with Mother's Day coming up this weekend. So Goodwood is also partnered and owned by Unique Physique, and coming soon, Unique Aesthetics. So the 3-in-1 will have a full service and complimentary health services plan there with aesthetics and, of course, hormone therapy and all the likes. Well, if you go to shopwithmatt.com, my name, shopwithmatt.com, they are pre-selling at incredible discounts products and services for Unique Aesthetics. Botox, skin tightening and lifting, of course, gift cards, laser, hair removal, other things like body contouring, sculpting, filler, all the micro needling, and right now, the lowest prices you will see. Shopwithmatt.com. Use the code UPLoyal10.
Welcome back in. Final segment here on a Monday edition of After Further Review. We have had a jam-packed show. Thanks to Jace, LeJeune of Gridiron Football, Bill Bender of the Sporting News, and Chris Marler right here at LouisianaSports.net for their time today. We blazed through a lot of topics. Right now, we're going to close this thing out like we do most days with some Ask Us. We got quite a few in the chat. First one comes from Easy E. Ask Us, favorite LSU team of all time, regardless of sport. This is a very easy one for me, and I am not pandering to the two guys that I do the morning show with. The easy answer, no question about it, is the 2007 LSU football team. Okay. I was in 6th grade when that team won the national championship. LSU's played for the title 4 times in New Orleans. I've been to one of them. It was in 2007 when they beat Ohio State. That was the season for me. Like, the craziness of it, the heartbreaking losses to Kentucky and Arkansas in triple overtime, the huge wins over Florida, over Alabama, winning the national championship, the emotion of it all, like, easily for me, 2007 LSU football team.
Mine, it will probably have to be, I'm assuming this was 2013 or 2012, whatever year was the first year with Mettenberger, Odell, and Jarvis Landry and Jeremy Hill. That's when
2013.
Yeah, 2013. So they weren't that
well, 13 good. Or 14, really.
Yeah,
they were,
whatever one of those years that Mettenberger was cutting up with Odell and Jarvis.
It was 14.
Yeah, so the year that Odell and Jarvis went to the league.
Or 13, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just started really getting, around the time I'm really starting to dive into college football, I was in love with Odell. I was in love with Jeremy Hill. I love Jeremy Hill. Love his play style. And that would probably have to be that, or maybe the 2016, 2017, whatever year they had like Jamal Adams, Dante Jackson, Trey White. So not the national championship years. They're kind of the down years, but they were still fun to me.
Ask us, do you cut your own grass? I am a capable adult male, so yes, I do.
Definitely
That's
cut my own grass.
What kind of question is that? Okay, here we go. Here's more like me.
Yeah.
What do you listen to when cutting the grass? Okay, for me, surprise, surprise, some sort of country music playlist. I'm sure Jordan's the same.
Yeah, you know, little Morgan Wallen. Little Morgan Wallen. Gets the blood flowing.
It's either a country music playlist or whatever audiobook I'm listening to at the time. Big audiobook guy, actually, the last couple of years.
Really?
The last year, I've listened to 8.
Really?
In the last year, yeah. And
Man, bro, that's more books than I've read.
I just started July of 24. So, okay, what do you listen to while cutting grass?
I mean, a little bit of everything.
The answer is whatever you grew up listening to.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, that's the answer.
You know, you gotta have the noise canceling though. I'm not here trying to hear the and all that, but just whatever gets me locked in. Yes, locked into that mode.
We like it. We like
rap,
little,
hip hop, something that goes hard.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
I can't be doing country music while cutting grass.
Well, it's a relaxation thing for me. I'm weird. I understand that. I'm with you. All right, that's going to do it for a Monday edition of After Further Review. We had a lot of fun today. Been with you, Thursday, Friday, today as well. Matt Moscona out the rest of the week. Matt Musso in tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday. We are all off on Friday. Everyone have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you tomorrow on After Further Review.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged over at Parish Restoration. They fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean-smelling, fresh-smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. Parishrestoration.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary. For those